Hello everyone and welcome to the great live Zelda game ranking that I have been promising people for like, I don't know, years at this point? Genuinely excited to finally be doing this. I think people have been asking me to rank all the Zelda games live for quite a while, and I've always held off purely because, okay, well actually for two reasons. One, this sort of thing takes some time. And then two, I hadn't actually played every single Zelda game then. However, I now have, with the final completion of Zelda 1 Master Quest, I have now finished every mainline Zelda game, and I now feel like I am ready to rank every last one of them. Let's heckin' go. As you all know, I'm Lynn. Some of you may not know, I guess. Hi, I'm Lynn. I play tactical RPGs. I've also been a Zelda fan for a really long time. I also run a little comic series based on the Zeldas called the Wisdomverse. It's been a lot of fun. Check that out if you're into Zelda, or if you're into comics, you'll probably like it. You can find that on either like Tumblr or Insta, and as I said, I've played every single Zelda game. I've got a lot of thoughts and theories based on them, and I'm excited to show them to you, both in comic and in this video. So if you're watching this from YouTube or something, hello! Like, follow, and subscribe, or something, I guess. I don't even... I don't know what YouTubers say. I'm not a good YouTuber. Oh man. Didn't know you streamed, love your art, glad to be here, no worries! I think there's like a little bit of, it's strange, there's a little bit of like disconnect almost between the streaming folks and the Zelda folks. I'm trying to like let both sides know that I do both of these things. I do also stream. I play some Zelda games. You can find my full playthroughs of some Zelda games on my YouTube actually, so do check that out if you're interested. I've had a really fun playthrough of Zelda 1 Master Quest that just ended, and I did my live review of that yesterday actually, so if you want to see that, that'll be out soon too. Yeah, and for the folks who know me well, yo folks, we're playing Hades tomorrow. It's gonna be great. Oh wait, not tomorrow. Day after tomorrow. There we go. It's gonna be great. I've been looking forward to Hades 2 for so long. Oh, is that what people say? Like, subscribe, comment, hit notifications, check out Patreon. I don't know. I don't have a Patreon. I have a Ko-fi and that's basically it. For the people who might be here for the first time as well, there is also a summoning system in here because I also code full-time. I'm a machine learning person, IRL. But I promise none of my artwork is machine learning, all of it is done by hand. I do all my work. But yes, also if you want, you can try this thing called the Emblem Gacha. It'll summon a random unit from either Fire Emblem or like some completely unrelated game, including the entire Zelda franchise. All the Zeldas and Links are in there too. So go ahead and spin the wheel if you feel like it. You can do that anytime during the stream. You've got like 5 pulls or something like that. But yeah, fun stuff. Shall we get to it? Let's get to it. Let's heckin' go. Momentous occasions begin now. Okay, so the way that I have planned to do this is that so I have a few categories that I've been sort of coming up with that I think I'll be rating all of these games based on. And I'm gonna, as I go through them, I'm gonna be rating them all here, and then I'm also gonna tally them up in an Excel sheet. And I'll be putting your guys' community ratings in as well. At the end, whichever game has the highest average score at the end from all the categories, including the community ranking, is going to be crowned the best Zelda game. I have some predictions. I have some predictions already. I feel like, so I haven't looked at the community rankings either, by the way. And I do want you all to know that my opinion of the Zelda series is probably going to be a little bit off of what, like, the community says. I have some non-standard opinions, but my prediction is that probably, I think, Wind Waker and Majora's Mask and Breath of the Wild, I think are going to be in the top 3. That's my prediction just based on, like, my own objective view of the series, like none of my own personal biases. I think those 3 games are just genuinely good and have less people complaining about them. So that's my prediction. Let's see if it actually holds through at the end, and I'm not going to be skewing the votes or anything to hold that up, don't worry. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's begin with gameplay. Oops, can't type. So, the way that I'm going to be rating this is actually quite simple. My version of rating gameplay is, if this game was like a roguelike, like if someone took this entire game and turned it into a roguelike, just eliminated all the puzzles, took out all of the story, would you still play it? And if you did, would you enjoy it? And with that, let's get through some games. So I feel like, also the way I'm going to be rating these is like 2 or 3 are basically average, like 2 is like lower average, 3 is going to be higher average. 4 and 5 are gonna be like near the top. Like those are just good games doing their things. Everything is right in those. If there's something that's controversial, I'm gonna mark it, but I'm still gonna like rank it how I think it should be ranked. So do let me know, by the way, what your opinions are, because the reason I do these live is that I want people to convince me. Like, feel free. This is a triangle strategy stream here. You guys can indeed tip the scales of conviction. Hold on, I didn't say that right, did I? You guys can indeed tip the scales of conviction by convincing me that your game reigns supreme. So feel free to do so. I'm always glad to hear people's opinions. Zelda 1 and ALTTP, if we were a roguelike, yes, this game's category, the gameplay category, is affected by the fact that some games do have roguelikes already made for them, and that's going to be functioning in. So let's start from the beginning. The Legend of Zelda. There is a roguelike for this, yeah. And like, NGL, I feel like it would be really fun. I just finished playing Zelda 1, I really liked it. I'm gonna go solid 4 for Zelda 1 on gameplay. The whole Master Sword thing, I talked about this in my Zelda 1 review in a lot more detail, so check out yesterday's stream if you really want to know my thoughts, but gameplay is good. This game was made in 1986, and somehow the gameplay is good. Adventure of Link, also a solid 4, I feel like. It's kind of weird, but the gameplay is really fun, like it's super engaging. I don't know, actually, how they managed to make the first 2 games in the series so hecking engaging, but they did. The Adventure of Link combo of being able to... So, it seems simple on the surface. You can attack up or attack down, essentially, but throughout the game you gain things like being able to stab upwards, stab downwards, jumping properly, using different magic spells to make things go faster or slower, or, I mean, basically just protect yourself, but you know what I mean. And all those options combo into some really fun skills. An AOL roguelike would be crazy, I agree, it would be insane, I would hate it. Don't enjoy roguelikes in general, so not sure how to rate this way. Fair enough. By the way, if you don't like roguelikes, okay, wait, hold on. If you like roguelikes, try Hades, it's a good game. If you don't like roguelikes, think of it more like the game, but without the puzzles or story. For me, I think that's essentially the style of gameplay that I enjoy in a roguelike, so I'm gonna rate it based on how a roguelike is. Yes, COH is a roguelike, this is true. Cadence of Hyrule... Okay, so I guess I should have addressed this to begin with. This is only the mainline games, which means that Four Swords Adventures, and Triforce Heroes are included. They are mainline Zelda games. However, Cadence of Hyrule, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land, and the CDI games and all that, those are not going to be in here. They're not mainline games. So, for the people who came here from Wisdomverse, Artemis is not represented in this poll at all. So rip Artemis, I apologize greatly. Yeah, Tingle is in here in this list. He's just not going to be on the board. I put him here so he can suffer. Also, for the people who know me, I hate Tingle. No Tingle's Balloon Adventures. Frick Tingle. Alright, and that brings us to the best game. It's not Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land, it's A Link to the Past. Link to the Past has amazing gameplay. It has already been turned into a roguelike. I have not yet played the roguelike, however, it is on my list of games to play on stream, so eventually maybe I'll get around to it. ALTTP combat is freaking great. It is so good. I'm putting it at 5. I would play this game as a roguelike, and I haven't even played the roguelike yet, so top tier. Good stuff. Link's Awakening I find hard to rate. I don't remember much about this game being any different than ALTTP, and I feel like anything it does, ALTTP did better. I'm putting Link's Awakening in 3, because I think it's average. I feel like I wouldn't play this game as a roguelike. The whole point of Link's Awakening is the story. When we get to story, we'll get there. Oh, don't worry, we'll get there. But I feel like it gameplay-wise goes in 3. Ocarina of Time. Oh boy. It's time to ruffle some feathers. What do you think, folks? 3, 4, 3.5? Come on, it's not great. Would I play an Ocarina roguelike? I feel like the combat system of Ocarina has been done better by other games. I'm sticking it in 3. I don't think it's that great. I think anything that Ocarina does has been done better later. We'll get to that when we get there. Guessing Lynn says 2. Yeah, I genuinely would have gone for 2. I think the one thing it has going... So remember, by the way, another thing is all of these are going to be rated not on how they were for that time, but how they hold up in modern gameplay. So if a game has been done better later, that counts. Didn't play Ocarina, so IDK. I feel like if I was gonna play an Ocarina roguelike, I would just play Breath of the Wild. Like, it's way better, combat-wise. Combat-wise, it's way better. Like, I'm not here for that. That said, Majora is gonna go much higher on the scale. I'm debating between 4 and 5 on Majora, because there is one element of Majora that separates it from Ocarina of Time in the gameplay aspect. Majora is insane. Yes, I love the 3-day timer for it. I agree, but that's actually not what I'm talking about. I am talking about the masks. Each of the masks that you can transform into adds a completely new style of gameplay. Imagine a roguelike where you switch between all 4 masks. It's so good, right? I gave Majora a 5. Yeah. I'm thinking 5. I'm thinking 5, honestly. The masks in a roguelike would be crazy. I agree. Wait, Mob, that's a reference, isn't it? You freaking got me. Ah, man. Okay, so fun fact, in Cadence of Hyrule's spin-off about Skull Kid, you do get to play as Skull Kid in a roguelike with the masks. And then I didn't realize that. It is! You didn't know it! Ha! I got myself! Okay, there's a spin-off roguelike in Cadence of Hyrule is a roguelike. Yeah, it is! You and I know this, Mob. Okay, alright, anyways. We trolled ourselves. Anyways, Majora good. I'm putting it in 5. Right, what's next? The Oracle games. Okay. I think Oracle games are basically ALTTP but worse by a little bit. Is there anything that separates them? Not really. There's the animal companions. I don't really... Okay, so my problem when playing the Oracles is that I wanted Ricky and I didn't get Ricky, so I'm quite mad. There's a boxing kangaroo in the Oracle games and he's so cool, but instead I got the giant bear. I hate the giant bear. Frick that. Okay, I'm putting it in 3. I think it's average. OOS is the only Zelda game you never finished. Holy shit. Okay, it wasn't that bad, was it? Dimitri is okay. Dimitri is mid-tier. Moosh is the flying bear. He's terrible. Dimitri's like a small dragon-type creature. Ricky the boxing kangaroo is the best companion, and I didn't have access to it, so I'm quite sad. You love Dimitri? Okay, that's valid. At least you love Dimitri and not Moosh. I hate Moosh. But I hate Tingle more. I'm gonna make that clear. Oh, man. Yes, Majora has both the Goron and Zora races that are incredibly hard. Didn't mind repeating them. That's good game design. Agreed. Definitely agreed. I think the game design... So, the way that the Zora mask works in the remake is actually a little bit worse than it did in the original, from what I've been told. I've only played the 3DS remake of Majora, but I 100%ed it. And I remember back in the day, the Zora... So I did get to play the N64 a little bit at, like, a friend's house. And... you could, with the Zora mask, I believe, like, race through the water. You could do, like, the lightning thing, I think, was either more powerful or something in some way. They did change that, apparently, in the 3DS remake. So I'm gonna give the Zora mask a full rating based on the original. The Goron mask is equally good in both. It's quite good, so I'll take it. Moosh is definitely hard to play. Yes, exactly. Frick Moosh. Okay, anyways, moving on. Four Swords. Yeah, I mean, as a roguelike... Actually, it would be kind of cool to have a multiplayer roguelike. I think multiplayer elevates Four Swords from 2 to 3. Which is not bad. It would be fun with friends. It'd be fun with friends. I'm putting it there. Alright, close enough. Wind Waker as a roguelike, I feel like is not going to go that high up. It's... Oh, Wind Waker is elevated. The gameplay is elevated by the fact that you can steal items. That was kind of cool. You can take, I think Wind Waker is the first game where you can take, like, weapons from enemies and use them. Does that elevate it any higher than 4, though? Not really. I think it's just a 4. It's probably just a 4. I'm keeping it at 4. Four Swords Adventures. You know what? I'm lowering Four Swords because I think if I was gonna play a game with friends, I would play Four Swords Adventures. So, yeah. I think Four Swords Adventures goes to 3. The graphics are a little bit better. Four Swords goes all the way down to 4. I only played the anniversary edition of that one, so whatever. What else is there? Minish Cap. Yeah, I think we're gonna have like a sort of a slew of average games, I feel like. I need to start rating more things as 2s, don't I? Okay, Minish Cap. It's a cute style, but most of the fun is from the puzzles and the shrinking and getting larger. The combat was nothing special, I remember, so I'm putting it on 2 for average. I'm moving Oracles down to 2. I'm moving Adventures down to 2. And then I think Triforce Heroes will probably take its spot here. Yeah, when we get there. Twilight Princess. What was the gameplay of Twilight Princess like? I don't think I like it that much. I feel like it's Breath of the Wild, but with less complexity. Is that accurate for TP? I feel like if you're gonna be playing... You gave it a 5? I disagree with that. I'm not giving it a 5. There's no way. For just the gameplay? There's no way. Yeah, I don't remember much of TP's combat exactly. I feel like gameplay-wise, it's basically average. I'm putting it down here in 2. 2 is gonna be average now. 2 is average. Because I want to reward games for being good. Twilight Princess is just Ocarina of Time, except the moves look cooler, but they're not any more fun to execute. That's the cool thing, is that you get like cool skills and stuff, I think, right? I guess there's also Wolf Combat, but I feel like Wolf Combat was also very simple from what I remember. Has some of the best combat in the series. Really? Really? Okay, alright, convince me. Definitely convince me. Because I don't remember having fun with... So I 99%ed Twilight Princess. I played it to near completion. I did every single thing. I collected all the bugs. The only thing I didn't do was collect the post souls. But I did everything I could, and no guides either, so it took me a time. It took a long time to do that. And I remember not being enthused about the combat, yeah. I don't think I was too... Although, to be fair, I did play Twilight Princess after Skyward Sword, and I enjoyed Skyward Sword's combat. So that's gonna be a thing for me for sure, where I'm gonna rate Skyward higher. Yeah, well, okay, feel free to write out what about Twilight Princess's combat was good to you, Nestor, and I'll take that into consideration when I come back to it, but I'm moving on for now. Okay, Phantom Hourglass. This pains me to say, but I think I have to rate it low, right? Like, I mean, would I play a roguelike Phantom Hourglass? Probably not. I'm gonna admit. The Ocean King's Temple is essentially a roguelike Phantom Hourglass, but it's not... I wouldn't play it as a roguelike. Ugh, okay, fine. It goes down here. God damn it. No, this is terrible. I refuse. I refuse to put my beloved Phantom Hourglass... Okay, I'm doing it. I said I'd be objective, and I will. However, Spirit Tracks I am actually going to put a little bit higher. The combat switching between both Zelda and Link was quite fun. I enjoyed it. The items of this game were a little bit more engaging to me. I did enjoy the whip quite a bit. I feel like a roguelike dungeon where you have to, like, use the whip to traverse areas, and you get, like, the boomerang and stuff. You gotta, like, I don't know... hit switches at points or whatever and fight your way through tons of enemies while controlling both Link and Zelda at the same time. I think that's kind of cool. So I am going to move it up to 3 for that specific thing that it has going on for it, but other than that, it's fine. Poor Phantom, I'm so mad. I'm so hecking mad. I know, it sucks. Yo, Hobbit, thank you for the continued gift sub. Heck yeah, I appreciate it. Let's go. Remember there being a lot of combat options and it felt strategic. Breath of the Wild, it feels like you're button mashing a lot. Yo, it was the complete opposite for me. I feel like in Twilight Princess, it's basically just hack and slash. You don't really need to think about it too much. I feel like that's how I thought, yeah. Spirit Tracks combat is kind of clever, but also cumbersome. I agree. This is why it's only a 3. If it was more fun to swap between them, I would put it higher. As is, I think it is still fun, and it makes for an interesting experience, but it doesn't get any higher than, like, normal good combat. So I'm keeping it down here. I might swap Ocarina and Twilight, though. I'm thinking about, like, how were the items? Were the items fun? Were the items fun in Twilight Princess? I remember the spinner and the Dominion Rod more than anything else. Those are the 2 unique ones. Those aren't, like, that fun. Those are more puzzle-oriented, too, so it's not gonna be in this category. Remember, this category is only combat, just gameplay, no puzzles involved. The items are fun, but the use is limited. I agree. That's true. I think Ocarina's items were a little bit more useful. Also, Ocarina does give you Neru's Love and Inspire. Oh, the ball and chain, that's true. I did like the ball and chain, which is kind of fun. You usually could not use TP's items in combat, and I think that dragged it down. I agree. Yes, I agree with that. I think Twilight Princess, a lot of the gameplay highlights are the set pieces. That'll be later. That comes in, I think, in the art and music category. We'll get there. Okay, I'm keeping Twilight here. I haven't been changing my mind. Skyward Sword. Okay, so this might be controversial, but I genuinely enjoyed the Wii Remote gameplay. I was having a lot of fun with it. I don't know, like, so also to be clear, I played the Skyward Sword game on a kind of jank controller scheme, but I had a ton of fun with the whole, like, swinging the Wii Remote. I found it mostly accurate, and I was using, like, a stolen Wii Remote Plus that I got from, like, a friend. It's not stolen, like, I borrowed it from a friend. And then I think you could put up 2 lights in front of your computer, and that would count as a Wii Remote sensor bar, so that's what I used. And I used my completely legal Nintendo PC to play the game. I did also own Skyward Sword on the Wii, though. I just didn't have the opportunity to play it. Skyward Sword was very, very fun to play, so I'm actually putting it all the way up here in 4. It's not as good as ALTTP or Majora in terms of just pure gameplay, but the weapons were engaging. The fact that you have to think about where you're slashing and then, like, bring your sword down in a diagonal angle to combat this guy with his, like, heads in a diagonal combat something, whatever. Genuinely very good there. Yeah, and by the way, remember, this is just for gameplay, so not story. We'll get to story later, don't worry. Maybe TP feels simple because you're not punished much for messing up. That might be it. And I will admit I enjoy being punished for messing up. Like, I feel like, you know, make the game hard, let's go. Come on, bring it on. Oh, man. Having played it on a Switch, really enjoyed SS. Oh, okay, that's a good point. I did want to ask about the Switch remake. I've never played it. Made you think while fighting. Yes, I did agree with that. Items were fun, I agree. The hookshot was really fun to use. I enjoyed that quite a bit. They brought back the whip, which is one of my favorite items. Good, more whips. I'm putting Skyward here. Between Worlds. Okay. How was the combat in Between Worlds? I feel like the combat was average in Between Worlds. Average, but how average? Is it good enough to get a 3? I don't know. I feel like maybe, Okay, maybe Link Between Worlds goes here and Twilight goes up 1 step. Maybe. I don't think I enjoyed the combat in LBW any more than I did the combat in, like, the Oracle games. But I did kind of enjoy the combat in the Oracle games. I don't know. Between Worlds is Link to the Past, but also going in walls. Yeah, but the walls is puzzle. The walls is like a whole puzzle thing. We're gonna get to that when we get to puzzle. But I think it doesn't count for gameplay. It's the same as Seasons and Ages. Yeah, I can agree with that. So Link Between Worlds' combat is top-down 2D, or 2.5D, I guess, because it's 3D models but viewed from above. However, unlike the DS games, it's controlled with the button pad instead of using the stylus and all that. So yeah, it's basically Oracle of Ages and Seasons. I guess it's fine. You know, actually, now that I think about it, I think I actually need to, like, put Oracle of Ages and Seasons up an entire notch. I completely forgot something when rating Oracle, which is the bosses. The bosses of Oracle of Ages and Seasons are brilliantly designed, like every single one of them, especially in Oracle of Ages. So I'm gonna put Oracle Ages up 1 too. So Twilight, because the bosses are good, I'm putting them here. Phantom Hourglass is fun, but as a roguelike, I wouldn't necessarily do it. Same with Link Between Worlds. I feel like the bosses were pretty similar to just ALTTP, but they're not as fun because the gameplay style is different. Yeah, I think this is now valid. Okay, we're good here. Triforce Heroes! It's gonna be a 3. It's gonna be a 3. Why, you may ask? Because gameplay fun, okay? Like, it's so fun, alright? Like, just forget about the whole Hytopia thing, okay? Just don't think about that. I played Triforce Heroes back when the servers were online, and it is such a great experience. I have talked about this before, and now I get to talk about it again. The costumes are alright, I guess. The costumes are equivalent to, like, Breath of the Wild costumes, for example. They give you, like, little power-ups. Which is fine. And there's also an element of social gameplay to the costumes, by the way. So for example, let's say that you're going into a level where 2 of the items are bows and 1 of the items is a bomb. If you're wearing the Kokiri outfit, then you're like, hey, let me take the bow because I'm wearing the Kokiri outfit. That gives you a bonus when you're using a bow and arrow. And then some other, like, complete rando grabs both the bows first or something. Like, both the other randos grab the bows. And you're like, what? I'm wearing what? Like, what? Do you not see my costume? I came prepared for this. I'm here to help you out. And then sometimes you go into a level wearing the Linebeck costume, which I did just for the fun of it, but Linebeck doesn't actually help the team at all, except for the fact that at the end, the player wearing Linebeck gets to see what's in the treasure chest at the end before they pick. That means everybody hates you and thinks you're a douche, so they start throwing you off of, like... they start throwing you off of the ledges and stuff. It was so good. The method of the absolute... I don't know, like, we found our own language in Triforce Heroes, okay? That made the combat really, really fun. Because not only were you, like, working with a team to solve puzzles, you were trying to communicate the solutions to those puzzles with, like, 8 emotes and a dream, okay? It was great. Link, oh, that's true. You do get to wear Zelda's dress. That's one of the costumes. It's great. There's also, like, a freaking Ice Queen outfit. There's, like, a giant, like, rubber Zora suit. It's freaking amazing, okay? Triforce Heroes is a good game. I keep saying it. Breath of the Wild. Yeah, okay, we're going straight to 5 with this one. I don't think anyone has any complaints here. If anyone complains about Breath of the Wild not being a 5, like, you're just wrong, okay? Look, I'm not like a new game shill or anything, okay? I've been a Zelda fan for a very long time, but Breath of the Wild had some really, really fun combat. I feel like I was thinking strategically for more of Breath of the Wild in combat than I was in any other game, barring one. We'll get there. And then Legend equips the Linebeck outfit, Hyrule and Silent. Of course you realize this means war. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Genuinely, I wore the Linebeck outfit because I like Linebeck, and I was like, shit, people are gonna think I'm a terrible person. Okay, Breath of the Wild combat, really fun. Obviously, I think most people here have probably played Breath of the Wild. You get a lot of different combat accesses in this game. You get access to skills like Flurry Rush, which is when you dodge an attack with the right timing, you get to like run back in and strike 5 times in a row. You get to parry attacks. If you can like bring your shield up at the right time and press A at the right time, you can reflect an enemy's attack all the way right back to them. You can attack people from different angles and with different items. You can technically use things like Cryonis and Stasis in combat too, so genuinely amazing. Yes, there is Breath of the Wild Master Mode, that is true. I have not played Master Mode. One day I will. One day I will. I think I can do Master Mode. I think the Trial of the Sword was like too much for me. I was like, holy shit. I have not done the Trial of the Sword. My good friend Ari and her brother finished the Trial of the Sword in my game file just so I could get the cutscene at the end, because I'm bad. I can beat Lynels no problem, but for me the problem is that like I need to know what enemies are coming, and I wasn't going to do all the research. One day I will do Trial of the Sword and it will be fun. I did enjoy it. So to be fair, I tried the Trial of the Sword, I just couldn't complete it on my own. And I only tried like 2 or 3 times. I feel like if I go back I would enjoy it, which is why this game is getting rated a 5. Like, I'm being super objective here, it's just really good. Tears is also a 5. I think people are gonna, I don't know why, but I feel like people's, like, opinions of Tears of the Kingdom has gone downhill very fast. Like, no, it was a fun game, guys. Like, it was really fun. It was good. It's the same thing as Breath of the Wild, but, like, a little bit better in combat. Because now you have access to even more skills, I guess. Can you not do anything that you could do in Breath? I guess you can't stasis. But you can still recall, so that's kind of the same thing. There's also Ascend now. You can find high ground, you know? I feel like TOTK goes straight up to 5 here. Yeah, gameplay is good. Okay, and last but definitely not least, look, okay, I tell you, I'm not doing this based on favoritism. I promise. Echoes of Wisdom gameplay was a solid 5. It was so fun to be able to finally think strategically for yourself. If there was a roguelike version of Echoes of Wisdom, I would definitely play it. I would. No, you have a point. Exactly, yes. Like, I'm rating purely based on the gameplay here. You guys saw me play on stream where I was like, wait, this is great. This is how I was playing A Link to the Past. Like, picking up pots and being like, oh shit, okay, like, how do I aim this at an enemy so I can kill him? And then the freaking rat goes under me and, like, kills me anyways, and it freaking happens, whatever. But yeah, genuinely very good. I'm putting Echoes up here. Okay, now we do one last thing, which is I need to figure out if any of these are, like, 0.5s. Does anything get moved up or down a 0.5? Anyone else moving any items? If not, this becomes the ratings. This might become the ratings, to be fair. I think this is probably good. Is there anything else I would change? Link to the Past, Majora, Breath of the Wild. These are all 5s. I think this works. Give Tingle a rating? Oh, sure. Hold on. Done. They're down here. Still argue that Twilight Princess could go up? Nah. I think Twilight Princess is at the same rate as... I think Ocarina goes down, honestly. Oh, Cadence of Hyrule. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, Cadence of Hyrule is a roguelike, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It goes in top of 4. TP has your favorite dungeons in the series. This is not where we rank dungeons, don't worry. Dungeons is in puzzles. It's a different category. This is just gameplay. Like a pure roguelike, no puzzles, no design, none of the, like, proper bosses. Like, you just fight the boss and keep moving if you fight bosses. Like, it's only combat. I agree that TP has really good dungeons, though. We're getting there. Tingle gets a -20. Breath of the Wild at 4.5. Okay. Okay. No, I genuinely think no. I think Breath deserves a 5. It's quite good. Cadence should be at the top in the tier that says actual roguelike. Okay. No, that's funny, I agree. Actual roguelike. You're right. Ah, man. Alright, I think we're basically good here. I think I've been fair with everything. TP, Ocarina. Honestly, Ocarina could go down 1. I could go 2.5 on Ocarina. Because I think the rest of these have a distinguishing factor. Link's Awakening is fun for reasons. Actually, Link's is also not really that fun. Okay, hold on. I'm going, anything that a Link's Awakening does, ALTTP does better. and it was also first. So I'm going here, and I'm putting these two at 2.5. I think this is how we... Justice for Tingle. Frick Tingle. Frick Tingle. Tingle isn't real and can't hurt you. Okay, this is gonna be my scores, I think. Alright, cool. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just copy this over into my, my little sheet here so that we can calculate at the end. Okay. And on to our next category, which is puzzles. So this includes puzzles, dungeons. You can include like how items factor into it, anything related to that. Also, all of that counts. And this is essentially, if this was an escape room, how much would you enjoy it? So yeah, puzzles and dungeons. This includes items, this includes like how the dungeons are structured, this includes any type of puzzle, like if you have to solve something on the overworld, that counts too. Anything that makes this game feel like you're solving something. EOW 5 stars. We haven't gotten there yet, it's the last game. We're going in time order. How much would you want to play this if you turned it into an escape room? TLOZ, I don't know, like a 2? There's not really any puzzles, are there? I feel like... average. If combat feels puzzle-like, that doesn't count. Combat feeling puzzle-like was in the combat section, and not in the puzzle section. Suspect the average rating here will be higher. I actually think it'll be lower, I feel like. I'm gonna be harsh on these guys, okay? I like a good puzzle. I want to see this thing get hard. So I'm going for maybe like a 2 for TLOZ. While it was fun tracking things in the overworld, it's not so much of a puzzle, and I can really only rate the dungeons based on their roguelike nature. So burning random bush isn't enough for a 3. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like TLOZ goes into 2. Adventure of Link doesn't have any puzzles. Let's go. It was just combat ranking, yes. So you can see the topic. Oh, by the way, for people who might be joining the stream right now, hello, I'm Lynn. I've played every Zelda game. I am now ranking them all. People have been asking me to do this for like years, and now I'm finally doing it. I'm ranking them based on multiple categories, and right now the category is in the bottom corner right here. We are ranking them based on just, right now, puzzles and dungeons. If this was an escape room, how much would you enjoy it? So we're talking here like things like items can factor in, anything that you solve, anything that you have to like puzzle your way through. If there's like signs you read and you have to put things in the right order or like pull the right lever, things like that all count. If you're solving something on the overworld, like finding a secret location or like solving an ancient riddle, that also counts. This one is specifically just puzzles and dungeons. At the end of this stream, I've been keeping track of all the scores. I will be tallying them all together along with the community ranking, and we'll figure out which Zelda game reigns supreme. So there's our little intro for the people starting out here. Let's get back to it. Okay, 2, 1, ALTTP. The puzzles were pretty fun, I feel like maybe a 4. And remember, ALTTP gets carried, like hard carried by the Dark World. The Dark World, not even like the existence of the Dark World, but the fact that you could go back and forth between them to uncover new areas in the Light World, that was neat. That was incredible. A Link Between Worlds does not actually do it justice, so if you haven't played ALTTP, go back and play that. The Oracle games do it justice, by the way, so if you played Oracle of Ages, then you know what I'm talking about. Same thing there counts here. The Dark World puzzles are great. I feel like I'm almost tempted to give it a 5, because the dungeons are also just incredibly well designed in ALTTP. Some people here were there for me playing ALTTP on stream, and I got freaking stuck in the Ice Palace. It was insane. It's 8 floors, like, down, and then some levels, like, bring you back up and trap you in earlier floors, and you have to go through the whole section again. It's absolutely insane how that thing was designed. I think I should... oh, gosh. And there's 3 Light World dungeons, and then there's 8 Dark World dungeons in one game. So you're playing through a lot of content. Oh, and the way the items are used are genuinely quite good for a Zelda game that old as well, but they hold up to this day as well, too. Like the Cane of Somaria puzzles in Turtle Rock. Damn, okay, I might actually go 5 on this one. Yes, some dungeons require you to... oh, I forgot about that! The Swamp Palace doesn't that... wait. Oh, and then there's the one in, like, the top corner. The Swamp Palace is the one that lets you go outside the dungeon and back in, like, multiple times to get into different parts of it, isn't it? There's one in the bottom corner where you have to swap between the Dark and Light World, I feel like. And then there's the bits where you have to solve things in the Dark World and, like, open up parts of the... okay, you know what? Y'all are convincing me. It was great. It was a 5. Frick. It's too good. Yeah, the one in the bottom corner. Okay, yes. All right. This is a good game. Yeah. Link's Awakening. It's been a little longer. I feel like either a 3 or a 4 to me. I'm kind of going 3.5, I feel like. The dungeons were good, but yet again, not as good as they were in, like, the rest of it, I feel like. I feel like 3.5 kind of, like, works for this one. Anyone can convince me here with Link's Awakening though, because it's been longer since I played it, so feel free to like tell me if you think it should be higher or lower. But right now, from what I remember, I feel like 3.5. Dungeons were good, but not having 2 worlds is definitely just worse than ALTDP. Was there anything else that we had? No. I only vaguely remember Bottle Grotto, and I don't remember much else. I feel like the dungeons themselves were of the same quality, but the overworld is worse. Is the first place you could use bomb arrows? Wait, there were bomb arrows in Link's Awakening? I don't remember this. I genuinely don't remember this. Okay, Ocarina. It's like, I don't know, like, were there puzzles? Yeah, the time swapping is cool. The time swapping is cool. It's not enough to get it to a 5, I think, because the dungeons are worse than they were in ALTTP. You could glitch the game to fire a bomb arrow. They weren't official, could you? Actually, damn. That's kind of neat. Okay. Thing about Link's Awakening is the dungeon we have to destroy the dungeon pillars with a giant iron ball, and that's really cool. I don't remember that. That just reminds me of Snowhead and Majora. That was a thing? We had to do that? Well, I don't remember this at all. OOT's Water Temple. Yeah. I don't think they were well designed, though. Were they? Am I being mean to Ocarina? Am I gonna put it back in 3.5 again? It's also, so the other problem with me and Ocarina, this is why I'm asking for chat here, cause I played Ocarina after I played Majora's Mask, and I like loved Majora. So anything I played in Ocarina, I was like, this is alright, I guess. I think it deserves a 4, but, oh, that's you saying it wasn't good. Oh, okay, I'm putting it back here then. Alright, if anyone can convince me that OOT deserves a higher ranking, then you probably will succeed. But at the moment, I feel like the dungeons were good, but not amazing. The overworld puzzles between the past and the present were alright, but they weren't like super complex or anything. They were solid but fairly simplistic. Yes, this is what I remember. And even when they weren't simplistic, they were kind of just tedious to go through. Hashtag Water Temple. Only one temple utilizing this. Yep, that's true. Spirit Temple, you start it with Young Link and finish it with Adult Link, but that wasn't enough for me. The hover boots do actually start here, and I love that item. But I don't think they did enough with it for me. I feel like they could have done more. The hover boots only show up again back in COH, I believe. More frustrating than fun. Okay, I can agree with all of that. I think solid 3.5 for being a good game, well designed, but still a little frustrating. I think we're okay with this. All right, Majora. Yet again, the Majora favoritism shines through. No, I'm kidding. Majora is genuinely better than Ocarina. The water temple in Majora's Mask is actually freaking brilliant. I loved it. I had fun. Because once again, yet again, Majora's Mask is elevated by the masks. Like, highly elevated by the masks. Because imagine the Zora Temple, but you're stuck as, like, freaking Zora Tunic Link. And you have to, like, put the iron boots on. Like, it would just be so much more boring. But when you can transform into a Zora, that whole thing becomes way more interesting. You can zoom through the water and, like, the different, like, you're trying to, like, switch up a system. And like, try to, like, do this whole like waterworks like thing or something. I vaguely remember it. There's like pathways going off in different directions. Snowhead is way more fun because you can rocket up platforms with the Goron mask and like land on the other side, and you're trying to like crush this giant thing that's in the center. Yes, agreed. And we haven't even talked about Stone Tower Temple, which is genuinely one of my favorite dungeons in the entire series. Stone Tower Temple is brilliant. Halfway through the dungeon, you learn that you can flip the entire dungeon and play it upside down. It's so cool. And then there's also the whole like Elegy of Emptiness thing, where you can create these little empty clones of yourself and leave them in places to hold switches. Goddamn amazing stuff. Okay, you know what? I'm tempted to go 4.5 on this. Still not as good as like, definitely not as good as the other games, but it's solid. Not as good as the games that I'm gonna be ranking 5, but it's solid. Do we count the interpersonal relations of MM as puzzles? Ah, no, that's story. That's story. Definitely falls under characters and story. But you know what? Does have a puzzling aspect to it. I can agree with that. I think the Bomber's Notebook is gonna go towards my story count. Yeah. Never learned how to carry progress forward. Oh no. When you're doing the same 3 days over and over again, but like you're actually doing the same 3 days over and over again. Rip. Okay, Majora goes here. Oracle. Oracle was kind of insane. Both the Oracle games are insane. I'm putting this in 4.5 because Ages gets a 5, but Seasons gets a 4. I think that's fair. Oh, actually, I could be wrong. I think I enjoyed, both of the boss sets are incredibly good. The dungeons are very, very well designed. Ages is slightly higher than Seasons, purely because of the overworld. Oracle of Ages does the Links to the Past, like, swapping back and forth thing, but it does it better. So, genuinely very fun. Plus, okay, you know what? No, both games get a 5. because now that I remember, in the gameplay of the story, so this is not story related, it is puzzle related. Once you finish the story, you unlock more items by going back and forth between 2 separate game files in order to like tell secrets from one world to another. It's very, very cool. Ages is supposed to be more puzzle focused than Seasons. This is true. People do keep saying that. I feel like I didn't necessarily see that myself except with the bosses. I feel like the bosses of Ages were a little bit more puzzly. Yeah, the more excited I get talking about them, the higher they should be ranked. Exactly. Exactly. This is what's happening. I think, yeah. Agreed. Oracle of Ages pulls the 2 worlds mechanic of ALTTP. It does so better than ALBW. Not through any fault of ALBW, but because in ALBW it's limited. You can only go back and forth between Lorule and Hyrule at very specific places. That contributes a little bit to puzzle solving because you do get to go sideways on the walls. That was neat. But it doesn't contribute to being able to go back and forth to unlock new sections of the world. That was new to this one. So good stuff. I agree. 4 Swords. Yeah, I don't know. Are there puzzles in 4 Swords? I don't remember there being any puzzles. It was a pretty simple game, folks. It's a 1. Wind Waker. Okay, Wind Waker was good. I think Wind Waker is a solid 4. Very well-designed dungeons, but the overworld doesn't really have anything special going on. Like, the gameplay was fun, and that's why it gets such a high gameplay score. But, well... No, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Should it? No, it's a solid 4. I feel like it's a solid 4. Oh, wait, but I forgot Medley. Like the whole Medley and Makar sections. That was kind of cool. Does that count enough to put it up to 4.5 with Majora? I feel like the Medley and Makar controlling sections were neat. I think that's what brings it from a 3.5 to a 4, actually. I'm gonna keep it at 4. I think Wind Waker deserves a 4. Alright, 4 Swords Adventures. I don't remember there being any puzzles here. I guess there were puzzles. It was like an average puzzling game. I'm going with 2. This is basically it. Adore Wind Waker's aesthetic. This is not the aesthetic part of the stream. Don't worry, we will be ranking that category. Right now we are ranking the games based only on how the puzzles and the dungeons are. So essentially, if this game was turned into like an escape room, if they took out all the story and character elements, if they took out all the combat, and you just needed to escape a room, how fun would it be? That's what we're currently ranking them on. But I agree, Wind Waker, aesthetic, so cute. Speaking of games with good aesthetic, hecking Minish Cap, amazing. And I will give Minish Cap a solid ranking. I feel like, yet again, like Wind Waker, slightly better than the 3.5 of Ocarina and Link's Awakening, because of just how good it is in terms of getting the whole, like, small and large thing going. It's really cute to be able to, like, enter a small form and, like, walk around. Maybe that does put it in 3.5 though. And I think Ocarina and Link's Awakening go back down to 3 actually, with no special gimmicks, just normal gameplay, but like good normal dungeon gameplay. Several fun mechanics in Minish Cap? Oh yeah, this is the first, yeah, okay, well not first, but you know, first timeline-wise. I did forget about self-duplication. You do start with the 4 Sword here. You can create little ghost clones of yourself and kind of walk them around. That was cute. That was cute, however, I wouldn't say it's any different than just using the Titan Mitt, for example. You don't really use self-duplication for anything more puzzle-solvy than you could by, like, lifting a larger object. So, it's fine. The only one of 4's games with puzzles is the one where he isn't splitting, which is really because each Link has 1/4 of a brain cell. Rip. True, though. Okay, Twilight Princess. I'm gonna go maybe, like, 4.5 on this one. Genuinely very good dungeon design from what I remember. My favorite dungeon in the entire series, one of my favorite dungeons in the entire series. So Stone Tower Temple from Majora is one of them. The Snowhead Temple, or Snowhead, it's the wrong place, isn't it? What is it called? What's the place called? The Yeti place. I forgot what it's called. Okay, there's like a place with the Yetis, alright? That place is amazing. Yeti Temple, or what, Snow Peak. Ha, because it's Peak is why. Wait, is Snowhead from Majora and Snow Peak is from Twilight, right? Did I get them mixed up? Snow Peak Mansion. This sounds right to me. Okay, it's Snow Peak now. Hebra Mountain, no wait. Yeah, no, it's, so that specific dungeon is one of my favorites in the entire franchise, just because of how it's themed. It's so good. It's really cute. It's not really that great in terms of dungeon design, which is why this doesn't go any higher. But like, the dungeon aesthetic is solid. You know what? Actually, now that I think about it, Twilight Princess has like a solid dungeon aesthetic, but the dungeon design is okay. I'm actually gonna put it down to 4 now that I think about it. The reason I like the Yeti place so much, the Temple of Time. It was a great reference to OOT and had a cool gimmick. What was the gimmick of the Temple of Time? Is that the Dominion Rod one? I forgot. What happens there? Ice blocks are fun though. I freaking love ice block. Yeah, average design, awesome vibes. However, like, I think it's elevated from Ocarina of Time and Minish Cap by, like, the whole wolf mechanic, right? That does get used in dungeons. You have to, like, I remember in the spirit place, you have to, like, track the ghosts with your wolf senses. It's the one where you control the statues, right? Yeah, that was neat. I agree. Okay. Alright, I think it's a solid 4 then. Yeah, Dominion Rod thingy. I do like Dominion Rod. I think it's cool. Yeah, you go to the top, you have to figure out how to bring a giant statue. Yep, that was fun. Okay. A decent amount of TP dungeons being like, oh yes, I see the actions to perform, rather than requiring real deduction. Ah, interesting. I remember them being the right amount of difficulty. So I'm not going to penalize it too much for that. I don't think they were like super difficult. Not like ALTTP, like these dungeons are freaking hard. These are freaking terrible ass dungeons. So difficult. Alright, I'm doing this. Phantom Hourglass! I'm so tempted. I'm so tempted. It's so good. Ah! Okay, here's the question. Does the Ocean King's Temple solidly rocket up Phantom Hourglass to 4.5? This is the difficulty of rating Phantom Hourglass. The rest of the dungeons are okay. Like, they're kind of fun. But specifically the Temple of the Ocean King is brilliant. It is my favorite dungeon in the entire game series, and there's no competition. Because the Ocean King's Temple is special for a dungeon. In Zelda, most dungeons you play through them once, you're done. You can leave, you're never gonna have to come back again. The Temple of the Ocean King is specifically constructed so that each time you go back to it, it is a new dungeon. You have to replay all the previous levels you've played before, but there are now new ways to get through them, and the dungeon is designed such that as you come back, you have new ways of using the items that you've gotten, and you're gonna start rocketing through those early levels. It's so much fun. It's genuinely, it's like playing an escape room. And it's even timed. Yeah, if I could, I would put the Temple of the Ocean King up here in a top category that's titled, "This is actually an escape room." So I'm putting it here. And the best part is that the entire dungeon has to be done in stealth mode. There are unkillable enemies roaming the corridors, and you cannot get caught by them. Yeah, you know what? Okay, alright. I'm keeping Phantom Hourglass at 4.5. It's too good. Alright, Spirit Tracks. It's kind of like that, but like a little bit worse. I think the Zelda mechanic is cool, like being able to pair with Zelda and fight together. And it does lead to some really fun puzzle solving, I will agree. Does that make it good enough to match with Wind Waker, though? It was fun. But by default, because you don't have to redo the dungeon over and over, the Tower of Spirits is just worse a little bit. I think most people found Phantom Hourglass annoying, in that you had to come back over and over again. But Spirit Tracks doesn't have that problem. So maybe it does get a little higher ranking. No, you know what? We're gonna leave it like this. I think this is fine. This is alright. Okay. Oh, I think it deserves higher because train. Do you solve any puzzles with the train? No. No, you don't. Oh, getting an ad? Okay, we'll wait for the ad. Friends, Romans, countrymen, if you're watching this on YouTube, like, follow, and... Frick, I need to scroll up and see what the thing is that somebody else said. Like, follow, notification, subscribe, ring the bell, maybe? That's a thing, right? I'll wait until the ads, hold on. I'll take some water too, actually. That's what I'll do. Alright, what do we do while the ads are going? Ad secret? What's the ad secret today? The ad secret today is that there's a new game that just shadow dropped called Fire Emblem Shadow. Apparently it's called a Fire Emblem game, except it's not. Because apparently it's actually real-time strategy x social deduction. Neither of those are Fire Emblem, what the frick? Drink a little water. Put this away. How was your day? Oh, it's been pretty good, yeah. Honestly, I should have done more work today, but I didn't. I was too excited. One of your friends is playing it right now. Oh, the Fire Emblem Shadow thing? Is it good? I tried looking for it. It's not on the App Store. It's just not there. Oh yeah, people who are in ads, by the way, type in chat once you're done. It gives me a notification too, but like the notification just keeps going. I'll wait until that notification is over. I think it's 30 more seconds. I'll give it 30 seconds. Ads over? Okay, neat. Perfect. People are escaping ads. Let's go. Back to the rankings. Back to the rankings. Okay, if you missed it, I talked about why Phantom Hourglass is amazing and deserves a 4.5. The Temple of the Ocean King is one of the best dungeons in all of Zelda. Genuinely amazing. Deserves everything it possibly could get. I'm keeping it here. It's in 4.5. Skyward Sword. Okay, dungeons had a very fun aesthetic, But like, were they fun to traverse? Yeah, kinda, actually. I think I enjoyed the dungeons. It was like Twilight Princess, maybe. Yeah. I think I had fun with it. Was I solving puzzles in Skyward Sword? Not really, actually. Maybe I go down by one. Didn't mean to hold it. No, it's okay. It's not just you. A bunch of other people are stuck in ads too. Honestly, if I could remove ads, I would, but Twitch doesn't let you. Twitch actually enforces us to put 3 minutes of ads every hour. Which I guess is kind of a good thing for us too, a little bit. We get like a little bit of a break, right? I tend not to do anything important during those 3 minutes. I don't want people to have to like, you should be able to watch my content without paying money or subscribing or using any of that stuff, you know what I mean? Like, it sucks. Yeah. SS deserves credit for having the only incorrect Majora's Mask. Temple of the Ocean King, sort of. There's no water in the Temple of the Ocean King. But it still counts. Oh yeah, Echoes of Wisdom. There's that one anglerfish dungeon in Link's Awakening. Okay, I do actually like most of the water dungeons. I just don't like the Ocarina of Time one, I guess. SS had time change aspect in dungeons. It did? Well, what's the time change thing? Wait, I genuinely forgot that. Oh, the Laneru stat. What? How could I forget? Shit. Okay, wait. No! How could I do this to myself? Ah! Oh man, I gotta... I gotta apologize to everything now. Oh man, this is funny for so many reasons that I can't spoil. This is hilarious. Okay, so yeah, anyway, Skyward Sword is a 4.5 purely because of the Laneru region. Hey, it might be a 4. Honestly, I think Twilight Princess and Wind Waker need to move down so that Skyward Sword can be its own ranking. No, you know what? Frick it. The dungeons were fun. Okay, the dungeons were fun. It was a 4.5. The Laneru freaking region is amazing. The Laneru region hard carries Skyward Sword. You still like Twilight Princess better. No, I like Twilight Princess for the aesthetic, though. I don't like Twilight Princess's dungeons because of the dungeon. I like them because they're like, they look cool. Like, playing through them was pretty normal, I feel like. Like, that's the problem. Yeah, the Laneru, okay, so for people who haven't played Skyward, we gotta talk about the Laneru place, okay? So, the dungeons of Skyward Sword are pretty normal, except for one region. The Laneru Desert region is currently a desert. However, in the very distant past, it used to be a lush green field, and they used to mine it for these substances known as time crystals. You can hit a time crystal, which is still visible in the ground even during the desert phase, and it will sort of create this like force field around it, and everything within that force field gets transformed into the distant past. So like dead, buried robots that were that have been left behind for millennia wake up and begin to talk to you, and like you can like revive ancient mine carts, and like most of the puzzle solving is built around you maneuvering through various different time regions and like moving the time regions with you and stuff. It's so cool. It is genuinely one of the best, once again, one of the best dungeons in the entire Zelda franchise. Laneru like just ranks up there with all my other favorite ones, and it does that for purely the game design, and not because it looks cool like the Snow Peak one. So yeah, I definitely agree. It's definitely a 4.5. Might even be a 5 if it was just that. However, it is only, I will admit, it's only 1/3 of the game. So yes, the Sand Sea is brilliant too. However, the Sand Sea isn't a puzzle solving thing. It is an aesthetic thing. We'll come back to that when we get to like art and music. But yeah, the Sand Sea, I agree. So cool. The dungeon itself was like it was pretty normal there. But yes, so awesome. Oh my gosh. This is even more ironic because my design, like the current Lin model you're seeing right now, was based in part on the color of the time stones from Laneru. Like, I love the time crystals. Genuinely. Gosh, I can't believe I forgot. Thank you for reminding me, Grilled Turtle. I appreciate it. Oh gosh. Okay, Skyward Sword up here in 4.5. Link Between Worlds. Genuinely amazing. I think it goes all the way to the top. I feel like the puzzle was really fun, wasn't it? Maybe 4.5. Maybe like right after Skyward Sword. Maybe not in 5. But, and I could be convinced to move it down to 4 too, but like genuinely very fun puzzle solving. You get to go back and forth between the worlds, which is cool. Not as good as Ages and Past, I will admit, because you can only go back and forth in certain sections, but it's made up for by the extra gimmick that's in there, which is that you can essentially traverse sideways any solid surface. And so you gotta like think in 2 dimensions as well as 3 dimensions when you're going through everything in Link Between Worlds. Very cool, genuinely very enjoyable. I'm gonna keep it up here. Maybe move it down, maybe. But like everything else, actually, you know what? Yeah, okay. Everything else here has like one really insane gimmick that I love. Link Between Worlds is like right over here where it's pretty good, but nothing that I insanely love. Triforce Heroes. Okay. An escape room. Triforce Heroes is an escape room. Like, this is kind of how you play it. Like, you're with a group of people, and you're, like, hastily trying to communicate how to solve puzzles as you make your way out of it. I think it deserves a 3.5 for that. It's actually going above Ocarina of Time because, it was never tedious. It was always fun. It was very, very fun. Dungeons for Between Worlds are held back by the fact that most items are... Yes, that is true. That is true. The dungeons are no longer associated with their respective items in Between Worlds, and I didn't like that. That is true. Bravio's cool, though. TH gets actual escape room tier. Yeah, for the purposes of this ranking, I'm going to put it in 3.5, but it is. Okay, Breath of the Wild. I don't know. Were there puzzles in Breath of the Wild? BOTW is gonna go kind of low here, I think. Were there puzzle flexibility? But this is not flexibility, though. This is just puzzles. Shrines. Okay, but were the shrines, like, difficult? Okay, BOTW gets, like, a 2.5, I think, for puzzles. You're not really, like, the gameplay is very, very strategic, but there's no puzzles or dungeon. There's shrines and beasts. Oh, the Divine Beasts are puzzles. Okay, that's true. I think the Divine Beasts bring it up to 2.5, above average. Like, TLOZ has no puzzles. Breath of the Wild does have puzzles. They were okay. I feel like they were sort of like Ocarina of Times, but they were more tedious. Don't understand your reasoning. Okay, so this is like imagine taking out, like, you can't fight. Like, you don't have a sword, and you're just playing the game by, like, running around through the Divine Beasts and the shrines. And there's, like, also no overworld, because there's no puzzles in the overworld of Breath of the Wild. Would you play Breath of the Wild if you didn't have access to a sword, you couldn't jump, you couldn't really, like, do any of the, like, flipping and stuff? Or, I mean, you can jump, whatever. But, like, you're just solving the Divine Beasts, and there's no story either. Like, that's what we're talking about here. Like, for example, I would play Skyward Sword's Time Crystal area without a story, without the ability to fight. But with Breath of the Wild, the ability to fight is what makes the game cool. No sword, just lots of bombs. No, I mean, like, you can't combat. Like, there's nothing to fight. Imagine there's no enemies in any of the Divine Beasts. Although true. Yeah, okay, that is true. But manipulating the dungeon has been done before, and many of these... So Skyward Sword manipulates the dungeons with the time crystals. That's why it's, like, it's pretty innovative. I agree. Okay, maybe... Is it as cool as flipping the entire dungeon upside down and redoing the dungeon backwards? Like, that was really neat. Yeah, that's the thing. That's my problem. Like, yes, it's cool to manipulate the dungeons, but I feel like I didn't really like it. Yeah, I agree. Okay, beast puzzles were fun in that you need to manipulate something the beast is doing. Yes, that is true. I like that part, and that's actually what brings it up from 2 to 2.5. For me. Like, I feel like if it was just the shrines, they're all pretty okay. They're average. Like, they're not bad. Remember, 2 is average, guys. Like, we're ranking them, like, pretty harshly here. 1 step above average, purely because the Divine Beast puzzles were, like, neat. But then, once again, that's kind of an aesthetic thing. Like, did that make it more fun? You know what I mean? I do like, yeah, I remember in Ruto, you have to kind of, like, pull the trunk up. Rudania was nice because the whole thing shifted. I agree, yeah. Okay, yeah. Making your own solutions? Yeah, well, yeah. A little, yeah. And Tears of the Kingdom suffers from the same thing. I think Tears actually goes down to average because not only are the puzzles less difficult to solve, they're just, like, kind of easy, like, they're just there. It's just now... yeah, I'm technically using a 10-point scale, yeah. This is true. 2.5 is the equivalent of a 6. This is true. Think of it like that. It's like I'm doing 1 to 5 because 5 stars is cool, except I'm just multiplying everything. So Tears of the Kingdom goes down to 2, I think. The puzzles are really, really easy. Yeah, exactly. Like, when you can say, screw this puzzle, I'm using a bomb arrow, and it's way easier in Tears, too. So people who have played Tears are probably aware of the 2 abilities in this game that are kind of broken. You can ascend and recall your way through everything, especially recall. Like, there's definitely... So there's a shrine that I encountered on my latest TOTK stream where, like, I enter the shrine, and I think the first thing that happens is a ball gets launched from the beginning of the shrine to the end, and you have to go follow the ball and bring it back. Except you don't, because you can literally just recall the ball as it flies away. So I did immediately, and then the ball came back, and then I picked it up and I put it in the answer, and I'm like, oh, okay, I finished. Like, there's a whole shrine here, and I'm not gonna touch it, because I can, like, this is fine. Likewise, there's like a golf shrine you can do in TOTK. There's a bunch of these where there's this giant target in the distance and you've got to hit it with something. In Breath of the Wild, that would have been really fun because you need to like make sure you can hit it in the right place. But in Tears, you can literally just freaking blow it up with any of your various items and it works, it counts. So yeah, the construction stuff in TOTK is amazing. That's true. That's true. Does that count as the puzzle though? No, actually, I think you may not have intended that to mean that it counts as a puzzle, but I think it does. It's never truly necessary. This is also true. I kind of disliked that. So the first few shrines in TOTK were really well built. Like they forced you to use the whole abilities that you get and stuff. But, okay, I think construction as a mechanic, the fact that you can construct brings this up to a solid 3 for puzzles. And I'm counting the entire fuse mechanic. Didn't really care for the crafting. Okay, that is fair. Yeah. So I do actually know a lot of people who played TOTK and did not enjoy crafting. However, I'm gonna have to give a nod to the sheer flexibility and fun and intuitive problem solving that the ability to craft brings to you. So I was on Hyrule Engineering back in the day when it first began. I was there for the invention of the hovercraft, etc. So, or the hover bike, I guess is what we called it. So yeah, the building is puzzles, exactly. If the building isn't puzzles, where would it be? So I'm gonna rank the building here, and that means Tears gets 1 point over Breath of the Wild. TOTK had a lot of puzzles, yes, where it was different problems with the same solution if you were lazy. Correct. I didn't like that as much, I will admit. Okay, and then last but not least, Echoes of Wisdom. I think this one, maybe like a 3.5. The puzzles were fine. They were good. The gimmick was really nice. Like, the Echo gimmick is really cool. Bind is very cool. Bind will solidly put, like, I think 2 points up on Echoes of Wisdom, but it still doesn't really get to the level of dungeon depth that you had in like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. They are still on the easy side, which is fine. EOW puzzles count as combat. I'm thinking more of the things where it's like you bind like a large rock and you like drag it over to a switch, you know, like that sort of thing. Or like, yeah, I'm not talking about the combat thinking. Like, strategic combat is not counted as puzzles, it's counted as combat. Yeah. I feel like Echoes then gets a solid 3.5. Ironically, the amount of available options makes you limited to what you know. What do you mean by that? It's not too complicated, yes, I agree. Yeah, that's true. Once you get water, you just do that to break a lot of puzzles too. That is true, they are cheesable. They are less cheesable than TOTK though. Hebra and Farron's dungeons were great though. Oh, I did love the AC mechanic. Yeah, that is true. AC mechanic was cool. Echoes of Wisdom's dungeons didn't really take advantage of its core conceit. I actually argue that they did. I think the AC thing has you like bind. So the core conceit is not just echoing to me. I think Echoes of Wisdom is half echo, half bind. Like, I think bind gets underappreciated a lot. And bind as a spell is very, very cool. So top tier, you have to like bind a lot of things. You have to sort of like let yourself bind a lot of things and follow some other item. I thought that was neat. I will say that was kind of cool. But you do just get to break a lot of puzzles. This is true. I think that keeps it at 3.5, where they were fun, but they weren't too difficult or anything like that. So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all of them, isn't it? This is a good set we have here. So let me just go back through, or unless, I don't know if anyone was keeping track of all of these in order. If someone was, let me know. Heck yeah, thank you, Pumpkin. Appreciate it. Okay, I'm gonna read that out in order and just type them in. And on to the next category. So this one's gonna be fun. This one is gonna start becoming a little bit more controversial, because I do believe the next category is story. This includes characters, story, not aesthetic, sorry, anything that has to do with, like, I guess how the game was written is gonna be the best way to describe this. And if I could describe it, how much would you want to read this if someone turned it into a book? If this was a book, how much would you enjoy it? So here we go. This is going to reward games that have interesting, complex stories, or simple stories with a good, easy, clear, like, wholesome mechanic. I'll take that. As long as it's interesting, as long as people find it fun, and I will try to be as objective as possible, but it is more difficult because this is a story. So, I don't know. How can I rate TLOZ high on this? You know, it's just TLOZ. There's not much going on. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just put the numbers in here. But like, TLOZ, it's like you rescue the princess. That's basically it. Everything else you've got to think up on your own. And the whole bit about like Dawn essentially holding her knowledge of the Triforce hostage, like I came up with that. It's really not told to you. Like, nothing is told to you. Yeah, sorry, TLOC and AOL. AOL genuinely has to go in 1 as well. There's really nothing going on. It's literally just Sleeping Beauty. That's fine, I guess. Yeah, the early games are gonna be hard on this front. You might think. However, we'll give it a little. Because, believe it or not, ALTTP has a kind of insane story. ALTTP, like, is the 3rd ever Zelda game. And it's really freaking good. Let me tell you the story. For people who haven't played A Link to the Past, let me tell you the story of A Link to the Past, okay? It's a dark and stormy night. Your uncle wakes up in the dead of the night, and you hear a voice calling out to you, a girl you've never heard of before. And she's calling for you to help, and you don't know what's going on, but you're not allowed to leave because your uncle says, hey, stay here, Link, I've got this. But he leaves and he doesn't come back. It's so cool. You're like, all right, okay, I'm hearing this voice, someone's calling me, I gotta get up. You get up, you go out, you find your uncle dying in the sewers of the palace as he tried to rescue the princess but was unable to. And with his last words, he says, a controversial phrase. He goes like, Zelda is your ... and he freaking dies, and he gives you his sword, and he tells you to carry on the fight and rescue Zelda. And you rescue Zelda right there! Like, it literally starts the game off. You go in, you break Zelda out of jail, and you take her with you, and you go to this, like, priest, and you, like, leave her with the priest, and you're like, hey, it's okay. And you just stay right here. I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna find the 3 pendants, and then I'm gonna, like, save the world, okay? It's all good. I'm gonna get the Master Sword. But then it turns out that, okay, so there's a whole lot of stuff going on here, but I think the main point that I thought carried this game over into being, like, just really, really good story-wise was the fact that for the entire first half of the game, and then I think continued on into the second half as well, you're on the run from the cops. Like, genuinely very cool. The moment you leave after breaking Zelda out of prison and putting her in the priest's, like, I don't know, like, temple or whatever? What do they call it? The church? You leave Zelda in the church and you get out, and it turns out you're wanted by the government now because Aghanim, the evil wizard, has brainwashed all of the soldiers of Hyrule, and now they think that you kidnapped the princess, which is true. It's genuinely kind of correct. But, like, obviously it's not going to tell everybody that, like, oh, hey, it's fine, actually. The princess wanted to be kidnapped. So you're on the run from the people of Hyrule, too. Like, villagers will stop and report you to the authorities. Genuinely very cool. Yeah, I feel like in the original ALTTP it was like a church or something, maybe a temple. I think in ALBW they retcon it to be a sanctuary and he's a priest instead of like something else. I don't actually remember what they're called. But yeah, she wanted to be kidnapped, this kind of stuff. No, you're breaking her out of jail, it's fine. You break her out of jail and you put her in like the dungeon because she wanted to be in the, like, or wait, no, hold on. You don't put her in the dungeon. You break her out of the dungeon and you put her in like the priest's temple area because she like needs to stay in a safe place. But then at the halfway point of the game, she gets kidnapped again because it turns out that even the priest is not able to stop Ganon's full force. Ganon shows up, breaks Zelda out of the place that you put her in and takes her to the Dark World. And from then on, you're like roaming through this alternate version of the land and like there's all sorts of NPCs dying in front of you. Freaking Ocarina Kid, who's just sitting on a stump in the Dark World, and he's like, yeah, I'm too young to survive in this place. If I die, could you give my ocarina to my father? And you're like, okay. And he just freaking fades away right in front of you. Holy shit. You break each of the... And then there's the whole Thieves' Town dungeon. It's so good. You walk into a dungeon, you save the princess immediately. This is like one of the other ones. You save the princess immediately, and it turns out she's not the real princess. She's the boss of the dungeon in disguise. And she's just accompanying you through the dungeon as you like try to work your way out. And you bring her to a special room with light in it, and the guy goes, surprise, it's me. Lynn, are you sure this isn't a 5? Okay, I'm thinking about it. I've been talking about it for 5 minutes. Okay, fine. Fine. ALTTP is a genuinely very good story. Yeah, okay, that's true. The opening of the game shows the king's corpse. It literally just shows the king get wrecked in front of you. This is true. Multiple NPCs die throughout the course of the game. The king does at the beginning. The priest gets killed when Ganon comes back halfway through the game and takes Zelda with you. The Ocarina Kid fades away and gives you his flute to pass on to his father. Yeah, no, it's okay. We finished the story. That's it. And then you save the world. I didn't even talk about the rabbit transforming bit. Never mind. Okay, yeah, there's a lot going on in ALTTP. To be fair, there aren't any actual weird time shenanigans, believe it or not. I thought that ALTTP would be like A Link to the Past and you'd go back in time, but you don't. It's just that this game was in the past of Zelda 1, so they called it A Link to the Past. And then I bet they were kicking themselves when they made Oracle of Ages. They're like, frick, we can't use the name A Link to the Past anymore because we already used it. Oh man, okay, alright, I'm gonna give, yeah, it's a 5, I guess. Frick, it's really good. It's really good. If ALTTP was a book, I would read it. Alright, what else? Link's Awakening. Ooh, okay. The Legend games all have good stories. This is kind of the problem. Link's Awakening has been scoring low on every category so far, but I'm pretty sure it's a 5 in story. Yes, it's very existential. Yeah, okay. So for people who haven't played Link's Awakening, you're on a ship, you're sailing back home. You wash up on an island after a storm crashes your little tiny, it's like a sailboat, really. The storm crashes your sailboat, you wake up on an island, and as you play through the island, I mean, I hate to spoil it to you, but the game's been out for like 30-something years. As you go through the island and become friends with the people of the island, and maybe even fall in love with a girl on the island, you slowly start to figure out that the island isn't real, that you've been in a dream the whole time. And what will you do? Will you wake up the windfish and leave the island and go back to the real world? Or will you stay here forever? Yeah, it's so existential. How real is Marin, right? Yeah, the fact that I'm writing an entire fic based on, well, this and other games should prove to you that I really like Link's Awakening story. It's a great game. Yeah, I ship the Hero of Legend and Marin, actually. I think they're great. They deserve the happily ever after. I agree wholeheartedly. 5 story. Genuinely quite good. Ocarina of Time. This is gonna be controversial, I think. I don't know, can anyone argue me up? I'm willing to be argued up on Ocarina of Time, but I don't like the story of Ocarina. It doesn't resolve anything. I'm currently, so here's a fun, for the Wisdomverse people, I've been kind of like hinting towards this for a little bit, and I'm finally ready to reveal the fact that this is existing. I am writing a fic from the point of view of Time and Lullaby in the moments and also the entire series of events after Ocarina, because Ocarina doesn't resolve anything. In Ocarina of Time, you go back and forth between 7 years in the future and the past, and it's like a dead world, right? And you go ahead and, like, I don't know, you break Ganon, you kill him, you save the world, and then Link goes back in time to be a child again. But to be fair, yes, I do actually believe in the Ocarina timeline split. I do agree, but I think it's not good enough to be like something I would read. Actually, you know what? Okay, if I had to argue it up, it'd be a 2.5 or 3. I agree, but it doesn't resolve anything. That's the problem. Also, so I don't know if anyone else had this viewpoint, or maybe if I had this viewpoint. This is the one time I'm gonna bring up the fact that I am a girl. But if it wasn't obvious, I am a girl, and I was I was playing Ocarina back in the day, and I'm like, is this just Link collects the harem? Like, did no one else think this? Is this just me? It's literally just Link, like young Link, picking up a random ass harem as he goes through the, like you go every place you go to. No, poorly summarized OOT is Link gets a harem. Oh, come on. Okay, fine. I'll take it. Fine. Harem is quality story now. And they're color-coded too. Link gets a color-coded harem. You get the blue one, Ruto. You get the green one, Saria. You get the orange one, Malon. There's a purple one, Zelda. 3 for the harem. I'm tempted to, okay, you know what? It is interesting. It is interesting, but it doesn't resolve shit. And for that, I'm gonna put it up to 3. Lynn, talk me up on this one. Everyone proceeds to shit talk OOT. Yeah, genuinely. Okay, fine. Oh, I forgot Naburu. Yeah, Naburu exists. Impa exists, technically. You can get with Impa if you really want to. 1.5. I think it deserves a 2.5. I'd be down to... Actually, okay, I'm keeping it at 3. I've convinced myself to put it to 3, purely because of the sheer timeline shenanigans that are going on in OOT. So, this is not even... But it's not OOT. Am I ranking this based on the game, or based on the lore that has sprung up around the game after other games have been released? You know what I mean? Like, they didn't plan this when they made OOT. They did not plan the timeline split when they made OOT. Can I include Downfall Timeline and Child Timeline? Like, can I put Lullaby and Elegy in here, or do I have to rate this game based on just Requiem? Okay, I'm rating the games purely on the games and not on the lore. I'm rating the games purely on the games and not on the lore, which means it gets a 2.5. Add a row above here. Yeah. I should also include story. Oh shit, you're right. Does the story get elevated by what came after it? I am rating that's true. Include story up to modern times. Okay, fine. Fine, you're right. If I'm ranking everything on modern times, I should also rank the story on modern times. In that case, I do get to count the extraneous timelines of OOT, which includes Downfall and the original one. Oh, actually, really, I really like the timeline split. I genuinely enjoy the timeline split. It makes a lot of sense. If you ever felt like Ocarina of Time's timeline split didn't make any sense, I'm writing a fic based on it. I am writing a fic from the point of view of Ocarina of Time Link and the Zelda that's not in Ocarina of Time, but has to deal with the fallout of Ocarina of Time. I genuinely enjoy the concept of Lullaby, which is my, I guess for people who are watching this who don't know Wisdomverse, Lullaby is a nickname for the Zelda that you meet when you go back in time at the end of the game, and there's a new Zelda there. And there's a lot of shit that she has to deal with the fallout for, and doesn't get any help on, and I think it's very cool. I already know what I have her planned out doing, and I'm finally writing a fic based on it. That's why it's been taking a long time for me to get the next chapter of Secrets We Keep out, so... So yeah, tune in for that. That'll be fun. It'll come out eventually, and it'll be like probably pretty short because I don't want to like write too much. I want to leave some things up to the imagination, but I have a series of events that need to have happened for things to make sense. So yes, I have been a Zelda fan since before the whole Hyrule Historia thing came out. I was not really a participant in the entire internet fandom back then though, so I actually had my own theories. I thought there was only one timeline back in the day. I thought there was one timeline, and I kind of had them pieced together, and I just thought that there were some like contradictions in the games. And then they released Hyrule Historia, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, yeah. And then slowly I was like, yeah, wait, this is cool. So now I'm a huge fan of Hyrule Historia. I do still follow the Hyrule Historia timeline. I change a few things though. Okay, Ocarina goes here. It gets a 3. Solid 3. The story is okay. Honestly, it would be a 2, but it's elevated by the timeline shit that came after it. All right, Majora's Mask. If you thought this was going anywhere other than like top of 5, you are incorrect. Majora is like the ultimate freaking Zelda story. The characters all feel like you're in a real world. To this day, I can still tell you things that happen on the 3 days of Majora's Mask. It's only 3 days. It's only hecking 3 days. And yet in those 3 days, there's so many things happening. Like every single person in Majora feels like they have their own life. And they're carrying out their life on their timeline for those 3 days, and it's up to you to change it. Like, how many of those lives can you change? How many... It doesn't suffer from being a sequel. Not at all, actually. I genuinely think... Yes, I still think about Majora's Mask's world and characters because everything is so memorable. So I've talked about this before, and now I get to say it in full force. I played Majora before Ocarina, and that's why Ocarina felt so lackluster to me, because the world of Majora had become so lovable that to see those characters regress into their Ocarina selves was freaking so bad. Like, I was like, what? This is Anju and Kafei, except now she's just the chicken lady and doesn't have a life or a story? Like, come on, that's terrible. MM is honestly not even really a sequel. It's just its own game, really. Yes, and Nestor brings up my main point. Agreed. So the NPC stories, any value at all, I agree. But even not considering the NPC stories, considering just the 3 main stories of the game, the whole game is about death. And I don't mean that in like a Link is dead way, like forget that. I'm talking about the fact that the moon is going to crash into the earth in 3 days, and everyone knows it. So in Majora's Mask, you see a world where everyone is just like crushed by this burden that they know is going to happen to them in 3 days, and they all react to them in different ways. Like, some people run, like you can hear Anju and, so I think Anju's mother and grandmother run from the center of Termina by the end of the 3 days. They're like, okay, maybe we can get far enough away. Some people are in denial, like the folks that are like, hey, the constructor people, like the construction guys, they're just like, hey, we're gonna keep holding the Festival of Time, it's totally fine, right? Some of them don't even care about the end of the world. You have Anju and Kafei who are doing their own thing. They're like, look, I need to meet the love of my life again. I don't care if the moon is gonna fall. I'm doing what I do. Yeah, game theorist reference. I did see that video. Yeah, I think it's very, very cool to see. And like the Postman, for example, even the freaking Postman has a great arc. At the end of the final set of the 3 days, you can see the Postman huddled in his room, and he's like, what is my life for? Like, all my life I've been doing this one thing. I've been delivering the mail, and now the world is gonna end, and like it feels like I don't even have any purpose. And you can give him a letter and help him fulfill his purpose at the end of the 3 days by just delivering mail one last time. And he's like, you know what? Yeah, I love delivering mail. I'm gonna deliver mail one last time and prove to myself that this is something I can do, even if the world is ending. It's so good. Oh yeah, also Tingle exists. Frick Tingle. Tingle does not have a story. Out of all the characters in Majora's Mask, Tingle is the one person who doesn't get shit. He's just there. No, frick Tingle. Tingle should bump it down to 4.5. I'm not gonna do that. Majora's too good. Yes, there's Romani and the aliens. I haven't even talked about the main 3 stories of the game. Okay, so... I haven't even talked about Pamela and the whole like the music box in the river, and Ikana Canyon and the Sharp brothers. This is so good. Okay, so there's Romani and Cremia. Their ranch gets invaded by aliens on the night of the second day. If you don't defend Romani from the aliens, she comes back as a like hollow shell of herself. Pamela's dad has turned into a zombie, and Pamela had no choice. She's like this young girl. She had no choice but to lock her dad into like a closet in the basement, and she's just standing there going like what do I do? If you play the music again, you can free him. It's so cool. Yeah, and then there's the Deku Kid, the 3 transformation masks. Each of them has like you solving someone's regrets, and then getting to take on their like persona and abilities as you go on through the rest of the game. So at first you get transformed into a little Deku child. It turns out he was the best friend of the Deku princess, and he died before he could save her. You get to go save the Deku princess and bring her back, and in various versions of the media you reunite her with her father. But like honestly, Deku King is kind of he's like a shitty guy, so it's okay. And then there's Darmani, who's a Goron who went to fight this giant beast that was freezing the world over, and he failed, and he's a ghost now, and you can become Darmani and go fulfill what he couldn't, and save the Goron village from being frozen. And then there's Mikal, who went to rescue his unborn children from the pirates, because he's a Zora, and his children are eggs, you know, because they're freaking eggs. Zoras. Okay, but before he could do it, he got killed. So you drag his body to shore, and he sings one last song talking about the plight of his life, and then he dies right in front of you, and you bury him in the sand, and you like put his guitar there, and then you take on his form, and you save the eggs of Mikal. Fun fact: you can sell Mikal's eggs to the black market dealer in Termina. that is, I think they cost 200 rupees. I think they give you 200 rupees. So that's something you can do. Yay! Woo! I wonder if you can I never tried selling the Deku Princess. Oh shit. So you can also put the Deku Princess in a bottle? I never tried selling her, but I wonder if you can. Which is the higher 5, MM or ALTTP? Majora. That was easy. Lynn, no! You can do it. There are some really fricked up things you can do in Majora's Mask, just by default. Goron that goes to fight a giant beast and then dies and time has to fix it. Never saw that one before. Well, to be fair, Darunia did not die. Darunia just came back, didn't he? Like, he's just kind of chilling. Darmani literally died. Also, I think Darunia's people are starving because they can't eat rocks, right? Like, they can't eat the rocks in the, So in the manga, they frame it as, like, in Ocarina of Time, they could eat normal rocks, it just tastes really bad. And then they're like, oh, we have to get to our best rocks. But then, like, I think I guess, okay, some people do headcanon that the Ocarina of Time stages are dead. I personally don't headcanon that, so why don't you eat the boulder? Yeah, I've seen that. Okay, anyways, let's not get sidetracked too long on Majora, but it's the best story in, like, all the Zelda games. It's really, really good. It's gonna be up there. Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Ages and Seasons have an interesting story, but it's not that great. If I'm gonna rank Ocarina at 3, it has to be at 3 as well. I think Ages goes above Seasons here. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna add a row over here, and we're putting Ages down here. They are elevated by, so Ages gets a 3, Seasons gets a 2.5. Ages has 1 extra point over Seasons because it is a little bit more story focused. You have honestly kind of an Anju and Cafe storyline going on there with Queen Ambi and the Skeleton Captain. That was pretty neat. There is the really interesting bit about Ralph deciding whether or not he's gonna kill Queen Ambi, which would essentially erase his own existence in Oracle of Ages. I love that part, I think it's cool. The fact that certain characters do show up between both stories and you can talk to them, also really cool, but overall, still a 2.5. Four Swords doesn't have a story. Wind Waker! Oh man, just such an adventure tale, you know? Like, I would definitely read Wind Waker as a book. Like, you know, you're this young child, your younger sister gets kidnapped by a giant bird, you gotta go save them by teaming up with a band of pirates. Like, that's so awesome! That has everything you want in a story. I'm putting it in here. It's got 4. Definitely a 4. Aren't those the ones where Ganon's resurrection is botched and he comes back as an idiot brute? Yes, that does happen in the Oracle games, yeah. They frick up the whole resurrection thing. It's okay, it happens. It's alright. Yeah, I think Wind Waker 4, solid, good game. Four Swords Adventures, there is unfortunately no story in Four Swords Adventures. However, FSA gets a single point higher because the Four Swords Adventures manga literally changed my life. I know I said I would only rate the games based on the games, but if I get to give Ocarina of Time points for all the timeline shenanigans that came after it, then I get to give FSA points for coming up with Shadow in the Dark Mirror. That shit was cool. That shit was real cool. There is a reason the FSA, like the FSA bio, it's a half point, that's true. Just a half point. I'm not going any higher than that, okay? 1.5 is all it's getting. But it gets that solid half point for the fact that people are still out here shipping bio and shadow 20 years later. So that's cool. All right, Minish Cap. It's a cute story, but I think overall it's average. I can't think of anything that would bring Minish Cap above the average point in terms of like story. You're like a little young hero. You can see the magical Picori. You team up with a magic talking hat that can like also do cool things. Ezlo is very cute. The game is very, very cute. I think that gives it aesthetic points. That doesn't give it story points. Like the question here is, would I read it as a book, right? Like if this was a book, how much would you enjoy it? And I feel like I would read it. It would be like a classic fairy tale, which I think puts it as like average. I think I can't get it any higher than that. But I'm free to be convinced on Minish Cap. If someone reminds me of something that happens that I forgot about, then I would put it in there. Okay, Twilight Princess. It's a good story. It's a good story, but is it as cool as Wind Waker? I'm tempted to give... Okay, people are gonna roast me for this. This is true. Everyone loves TP's characters, and I said I would be unbiased. Okay, all right. I'm putting... It's a 4. It's a 4. How about that? You guys are gonna have to help me for Twilight Princess. You're gonna have to help me be unbiased. Because I'm gonna be a little unfair towards Twilight Princess. I've never been a fan of werewolves and vampires. Nothing about them does anything to me. All the kids, I freaking hated Ilya, I will admit. Twilight Princess has cool factor. I never liked Midna all that much, actually. She's cool, she's very cool. But she's never been my favorite, I will admit. My friend loved her, though. My friend Cadence, for the people who have been on my stream, I have code names I refer to my friends with. Cadence is my code name for one of my friends. Cadence loved Midna. Cadence loved Twilight Princess. But that was always Cadence's thing. I always thought, like, it's okay. Story redeemed the gameplay. Okay, that's fair. Hero Shade was very cool. That's true. Okay, Girl Turtle is a very good point there. Okay, theme of TP appeals to a lot of fans. That's true. Okay. Solid 4, maybe even a 4.5. Werewolves are awesome. Ignore Twilight for the love of God. So I did read Twilight, by the way, back in the day, just so I could critique it fairly. And I will say, books, not that great. Movies, also not that great. However, at the end of the last movie, there's a scene where they all finally fight each other with their vampire powers and they start ripping each other's heads off. That was neat. That was really cool. Unrelated Twilight rating, just thrown in there for you for free. Love the Ganondorf. Yeah, he's just thrown in at the end. Okay, so Twilight Princess would get a 4.5 if Midna was like, you know, okay, Midna's good. But I think the problem with Twilight Princess is that it's not a Zelda game. You know what I mean? Yeah, it didn't happen. Yeah, I thought that was cool though. Like, so the there's a movie not for Twilight, not for Twilight Princess, for Twilight, like, you know, the book series. Don't worry about it, okay? I think Wind Waker should be above Twilight Princess the moment Link draws the Master Sword only to inadvertently break Hyrule's scene with the frozen... Yeah, that is cool. Okay, that is cool. I think Twilight Princess would go to 4.5. However, I'm dropping it back down to 4 because Zelda doesn't freaking show up. Okay, Zelda does 2 things in the game. She shows up at the beginning and says hi. Okay, 3 things. She shows up at the beginning and says hi. She gives the Triforce of Wisdom to Midna and then fades away. And then she gets possessed and attacks you. And then, like, I guess she, like, shows up at the end for the final battle scene with the bow and arrow. But other than that, yeah, it's the Legend of Zelda, and Zelda doesn't do anything. Okay, wait, but then again, Majora's Mask, Link's Awakening, do not have Zelda in them. So I can't penalize the game for not having Zelda in it. But then again, Twilight Princess has Zelda, which, like, promises you that the Zelda will do something, and then she doesn't do anything. So I feel like that letting you down is what I'm talking about here. DLOC. Yeah, it's over here. It's all the way at the bottom. Also, yo, folks, thank you for the raid, Marshmallow Dragon. Welcome, guys. If you're a Zelda fan, you're here at the right time. We are currently ranking every Zelda game based on multiple categories. Zelda does make a cameo. Yes, that's true. She makes a cameo in Majora's Mask when you have a flashback to see, I think it's either Requiem or Lullaby, I guess, based on my little nicknames. But Zelda does kind of show up for like 5 seconds in a flashback and teach you the Ocarina of Time playing, and then that's it. That's the only time you see her. She doesn't show up at all in Link's Awakening. So, does it count? Not really. Yeah, I think if Zelda... So Zelda as a character, like, the fact that she doesn't show up means she's not a character in these 2 games, but she is a character in Twilight Princess and she doesn't do anything, so this is the only game where you fight a possessed Zelda, that is true. There are other games with Dark Zeldas, but none with possessed Zelda. I think that is very neat. And let me, as a Zelda fan, okay, like, I'm not being mean to Dusk. I genuinely think that Dusk made the best decisions she could. Dusk, by the way, for people who might be newer here, Dusk is my nickname for Twilight Princess Zelda. We have some nicknames for some of the Zeldas or for all of the Zeldas, just to keep them straight. So I might slip and refer to one of the Zeldas by their nicknames at one point. If you're ever confused, just ask, I'll explain. Anyways, Dusk, I think she makes the right decision pretty much all the time. She makes the most wise decision whenever possible, which is to say that, like, when Zant comes a knocking, she surrenders. Probably the best thing to do. I think she would have lost if she had fought. She knew this. The soldiers aren't good enough. You prove this later. So she does surrender aptly. That's fine. She realizes that, like, okay, I need to give the Triforce of Wisdom to Midna. Midna's gonna be more useful here than I am. She uses her time stuck in the castle to figure out where the Master Sword is and then tells Link about it. All of that is very, very wise, but is it interesting? Not as much. Yeah. TP Zelda looks great, but I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, she's very wise. Very, very wise. But she's, like, her choices, because they're so wise, they're a little bit boring. Agreed. Twilight Princess Zelda is hard carried by her appearance in Smash Bros. Agreed, agreed. Very true. Okay, skill issue, just suplex Zant. Okay, there's no way freaking Dusk is doing that, come on. Alright, Twilight Princess solid 4, Midna carries. That's basically it. Oh, I do also like, okay, my other complaint with Twilight Princess's story is the whole, like, Revolution group. I feel like we could have done more with those guys. Like, nothing happens to Ashe and Shad and Russell even is part of the Revolution. They don't do anything. They just show up and, like, tell you one hint to a dungeon each, and then they show up at the end and they're like, hi, we're also here. And then that's it. I feel like I didn't get anything out of them. Yo, Lobster Boy 10, welcome. Your comics are really cool, thank you. Glad you like them. Yeah, by the way, for people who may not know, I am a huge fan of the Zelda series, clearly, but I also write a little comic series based on the Zeldas. If you want to check that out, I'm Linda Rosse on all social medias, Tumblr, Insta. I think Insta is where you can catch up with the newer stuff easier. Tumblr has a master post with all the comics on them. If you like Zelda, check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. Oh, thank you. There's the link right there. Yeah. You can find the Tumblr master post right there. I'm also on Insta. Okay, cool. Moving on. Phantom Hourglass. Okay. I'll be unbiased. I promise I'll be unbiased. 3.5, okay? Come on. It has to be a 3.5. It could even be a 4. Okay, it's probably not a 4. Yeah, Linebeck. Yes, exactly. It's not even a hear me out. It's not even a hear me out, Litalis, although I do appreciate your opinion. Linebeck specifically is, like, solid. This is my bias, actually. You're gonna have to talk me down from Linebeck because I freaking love him. Linebeck is the best NPC in, like, all of Zelda. Except for maybe some other. I have one other person who can maybe combat Linebeck. We'll get to that. Linebeck. That's true. Can't spell Linebeck without Lin, can you? Oh, get wrecked. Yeah, okay, so for people who haven't played Phantom Hourglass, Linebeck is this guy in the cover right here. He's kind of a terrible person, okay? Like, at the beginning, he's a coward. He's greedy as frick. He tends to fake illnesses so that you can do the work for him. He's really, really socially awkward to the point that despite you being on his ship, he writes you a letter to communicate with you because he just can't bring himself to tell thank you to you. Like, he's just like, okay, so I'm gonna, like, write you this letter. Read it, okay? Like, it's so good. And then you have a fairy companion too, Ciela. And Ciela and Linebeck play off of each other amazingly. Ciela is like your classic fairy. But, like, with a little bit, she's somewhere on the ranking between, like, if you mixed Navi and Tattle, you'd get Ciela. She's, like, in the middle between both of them. And she's got, like, a little bit of spunk, but she's, like, nice enough to carry things through. And she and Linebeck butt heads so much, is great. I think there's a sprite somewhere of Linebeck, like, pulling Ciela, like, just stretching her wings, like, shut up. Yeah, it's genuinely very fun. But then, by the end of the story, Linebeck redeems himself, and it's so freaking cool. At the halfway point, the Ocean King promises Linebeck any treasure he possibly wants, if only he can just carry on with Link, see it through to the end of the game, and then one treasure, anything you desire. And Linebeck is like, okay, let's go, I'll do it. But then at the end, when his ship gets destroyed, and he's stuck on a floating raft with this, like, horrifying tentacle creature in front of him, and Link has been knocked out, he's, like, just barely, like, regaining conscious, blacked out on the floor, Linebeck steps forward and stabs Bellum in a tentacle, and saves Link's life. And in doing so, he gets possessed by Bellum, and you fight him as the final boss. It is so cool. Oh, of course I'm excited about those. Please. You underestimate me, friends. I am a Zelda fan. And also thank you for the follow, Moro Magia. I appreciate it. Welcome. Yes, if you didn't know that I love Phantom Hourglass, I hecking love Phantom Hourglass. My question is whether it deserves a 4 or a 3.5. I think my one complaint The reason this is not a 4, along with Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, I think my one complaint with Phantom Hourglass is that they don't use Tetra. Like, at all. So she does show up for the beginning, she has the cutscene at the beginning, and then she gets essentially just blacked away for the entire series. She only comes back at the end. That was a little bit sad. So just like Twilight Princess, I think, being knocked down a peg, Phantom Hourglass also gets knocked down a peg for that. I will say also that the whole Linebeck arc is pretty long and takes place over the course of the entire story. So yeah, for a direct Wind Waker sequel, it kind of feels bad that there's no Tetra. There's no Auril. I think in terms of like a good solid continuous world, Wind Waker and Twilight do a little bit better, but Phantom Hourglass is just hard carried by the one NPC story that you have going on, because Linebeck's story solo is one of the best story characters in the game. I genuinely put that in there. Tetra's there because they couldn't find a way to put her in the story. Yeah, kinda, honestly. Like, I don't know what she would have done if she was in the story, essentially. Other than, like, you just going on her boat instead of Linebeck, I think, maybe, but eh. Yeah, so they tell us actually, we're currently rating the games based on only one category, which is the story and character. So I'm only talking right now about, like, if this was a book, how much would you enjoy it? We've actually already done the ratings based on gameplay and dungeon design. Yeah, no worries. We've done those ratings. They're there in the VODs, by the way, and I'm going to be putting this out too. So if anyone wants to check that, I will be keeping that out there. And then at the end of this stream, I'm actually going to be tallying everything together, and we're going to see what Zelda game reigns supreme after we finish rating every character. Every category. There we go. But yeah, I agree, though. Hourglass gimmick fun. Dungeon design is really good. High tier. That said, story-wise, Phantom Hourglass 3.5. Solid story. Spirit Tracks. Okay, this is a fun one. What do I do with ST? It's good, though. I feel like Spirit Tracks maybe actually gets a 4. The story is quite good. Not only do you have a redemption arc with Burn, you've got all sorts of other things going on. Okay, this train. Spirit Tracks, Zelda, and Link carry the story, and in a Zelda game, that's brilliant. Yeah, I genuinely think it is a stroke of genius to have Zelda get killed at the beginning of the story and then accompany you as a ghost for the entire time. Genuinely very cool. Anjean is a really cool mentor character. She's a Locomo, which means that she's like an old lady in a wheelchair type of device, and she's like very wise, and she's just kind of like, she's constantly acting like she knows something that you don't know, and it's brilliant. I love it. Yeah, Burn, there is a redemption arc in this game. I don't think you really get this in Zelda very often. Very often, but there is a full redemption arc in a character called Burn, who starts off as one of the villains until he realizes that by the end of the game, he's gonna fight with the good people. He dies. I think he freaking gets offed, so sucks, but yeah, he decides to fight for good, and he loses his life in service of the good people, I guess. And I think at the end of the series, you can see him walking off into the sunset, presumably into death with Anjean. So good stuff. I love it. This is the only game that Zelda actually works with you through the entire game. Yeah, that's true. Other than Cadence of Hyrule, which is a 2-player game, you do not get to Zelda in any other Zelda. Yep. So yeah, Spirit Tracks, I think solid 4, maybe even 4.5. I might change these rankings. I might make this a 4. I feel like this is a 4 and this one is like a 4.5. Because these stories are really good ones right here. This is genuinely quite good. Twilight Princess deserves this. I think Ocarina of Time kind of deserves a 3. I can agree. I think there's like a solid split here between games that have a story and games that don't. You can't not like a game where you drive a train. Okay, look, the train isn't a story thing, okay? It's an aesthetic thing. We'll get to that when we think of aesthetic. Also, I think someone asked what rankings have you done before, right? Let me just do that real quick. So for the people who are joining in right now, I have previously ranked combat and gameplay, which is to say, how much would you want to play this game if someone turned it into a roguelike? I have also previously ranked puzzles and dungeon, so that's like, how much would you want to play this if someone turned it into an escape room? And then now we're currently ranking story, which is how much would you want to read this game if someone turned it into a book? So like, for example, if someone turned Phantom Hourglass into a book, I would read it. I would read it just for Linebeck. It would have to be a shorter book though, which is why it's down here in 4 and not in 4.5. All right, now Skyward Sword. I feel like story is a weak point in Skyward Sword. I think Ocarina maybe even deserves a 3.5 and Skyward deserves a 3, because there's not too much going on in SS. I was actually I remember being displeased with Skyward. Yep, I kind of disliked Skyward Sword's story. Skyward Sword is a story in which you are constantly late to everything you try to do, and then you get berated for it, and then you do it again. This is kind of what happened. I like that it justifies Zelda's name being the title of the series. I mean, does it? Yep, that's true. Groose. Okay, good point. just like Linebeck pulled Phantom Hourglass up by 1, I think Groose pulls up Skyward Sword. But to be honest, Groose pulls Skyward Sword from a 2 to a 3. Like, otherwise it would have been a 2. Okay, no, Groose and Fi. I do like Fi. However, I don't like Fi for how she is in the game. I like Fi for the potential that she holds. So, yeah. Found Groose annoying. What? What? How dare? How could you? I genuinely love Groose. I think Groose is amazing. So Groose, similar story arc to Linebeck in which he like starts off as a bully, kind of a dick, and then by the end of the game he's just redeemed himself. I will say, so I talked about this on, I think I talked about this on Reddit somewhere, but I do rank Linebeck as a better story than Groose specifically, purely because Linebeck gives it all in a moment where he doesn't know if he's gonna survive or anything. Like, it's something that he can't do. He doesn't know how to fight. He barely knows how to hold a sword, but he stands in front of you and defends you anyways, and he suffers for it greatly. But he did it because he had to, and he did it because he cared for Link, and I love that. Groose, meanwhile, gets to show his intelligence, which is really cool. He builds a giant catapult out of just scraps of wood, and he shoots, like, cannonballs at freaking Demise. That's pretty neat. It's kind of cool, so I do like that, but it's not as cool as Linebeck, I will say. So, if OOT gets bonus points for this timeline, Skyward Sword gets bonus points for Demise's Curse. Okay, so, Demise's Curse is a popular headcanon in some of the Zelda fans, and while I did talk about, so Sky mentioned this in Secrets We Keep, so some people think that Demise's Curse is true in Wisdomverse, so Sky specifically thinks that Demise's Curse is true, but I actually do not think Demise's Curse is really a curse. So I personally, like, as the author, I think Sky is incorrect about that. Sky thinks that he has doomed all of his successors to, like, a repeating cycle of combat, but he is unfairly placing guilt on himself for something that he didn't actually do. Demise was gonna try to take power no matter what, anyways. It didn't have anything to do with whether Sky killed him fast or not. That's, like, my view of canon. But Sky doesn't believe that, and really in the end, it's based on what Sky believes that counts, right? So, just really like Sun, one of my favorite Zeldas. Sun is great. Sun is great, and honestly, if we were playing as Sun, then Skyward Sword would be a whole different game. Because Sun is early to everything. She has wisdom but not courage. And Sky has courage but not wisdom. Because what constantly happens in Skyward Sword is that Sun is the, by the way, Link is a key name for Wisdomverse codename for Skyward Sword Zelda, by the way, if that wasn't clear. Sky is the Wisdomverse codename for Link from Skyward Sword. Okay, so Sun goes to a dungeon, fulfills her ritual thing with Impa, and then, like, they do it on time, and then the bad guys start showing up, like, you know, Girahim starts showing up, and they go like, bye, and they, like, vanish just in time as Link is showing up, right? And Sky runs in, and he's like, oh, what's going on? And he's like, late. And Impa's like, you bitch, you're late. And Sky is like, oh no, I'm sorry. And then Girahim is like, you fool. Now that the other two have left, you're gonna fight me. And then you fight Girahim. That's what happens, like, all the time. Like, I'm putting Skyward Sword a little bit lower because of it. So 3, it's an okay story, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not counting Laneru's, like, whole time shenanigans in here, because that is an aesthetic thing that is not a story thing, I feel like. Girahim is interesting, I will say. But, like, would you read a book just because it had Girahim? Okay, people probably would. Never mind. Okay, Skyward Sword here. Link Between Worlds. Believe it or not, straight to 5. I don't know if people saw this coming, but I personally really think that Link Between Worlds has one of the best stories in all of Zelda. I can't really say why, too, can I? I'm not gonna spoil Link Between Worlds. Okay, I am. This is gonna be massive spoilers for the one Zelda game. Yeah. I do really like Link Between Worlds. This is going to be massive spoilers for the one Zelda game that actually does have spoilers. Yes, technically Wind Waker has some. Technically Ocarina of Time has the whole Sheik thing. I don't count those. Okay, they kind of count, but, like, not anymore, okay? We're rating these, like, for the modern day, alright? And people nowadays know. Echoes of Wisdom has spoilers too? Oh, I guess it kind of does. Yeah, okay. True, but nothing on the level of this one. There are spoilers in Link Between Worlds that really, really do a good job. Remember absolutely loving Link Between Worlds, and I remember nothing from it. Okay, alright. For the next 2 minutes or so, I am going to be talking about massive spoilers for Link Between Worlds, which is actually a very good Zelda game. If you are interested in Link Between Worlds, then come back to the screen once, I don't know. We'll put something in chat, I guess. I don't know. Someone tell people in chat when the people who are muting can come back. Muting, but dang, do I want to know the spoilers. Okay. Perfect timing for an ad. Oh, perfect. Okay. Some people are gonna get knocked out, too. This is true. There's an ad break going on. Okay, great. Should I wait? Probably not. Okay, whatever. If you've gotten kicked out by an ad, then you're not gonna hear Link Between Worlds' story again, I guess. Haven't played, so type in chat, please. Okay, good, good. All right, we'll let the people know that are coming back in about the spoilers. Okay, but I'm not starting yet. Everybody else, leave. Okay, you're good? Okay, cool. All right, Link Between Worlds is very cool because of two separate spoilers. For one, in Lorule, the Triforce is a little bit shifted, so this is my specific theory, but the story still works the same way. There's three characters in Lorule. There's Hilda, the princess, Ravio, who is the hero. This is all the spoilers, we're already getting to them, and Yuga, the bad guy. Now, the three people in Lorule do not act the same way that the Hyrule people do, right? Because, so in Hyrule, our princesses have always been associated with wisdom. Our heroes are always associated with courage, and usually the bad guys have power. But imagine a world where things are a little bit different, just shifted by a little bit. Imagine a world where the princess is powerful but not necessarily wise. Imagine a world where the villain has a lot of courage, like he really's got that ambition, but doesn't necessarily have the power to make his dreams a reality. And imagine a world in which the hero knows exactly what's going on, he's so wise, but he doesn't have the courage to do anything about it. This is the world we find ourselves in the beginning of the game in Lorule, but we don't know about it yet. So throughout the game, you get to have these things revealed to you slowly over time, when it gets shown to you that Hilda has actually been working with the villain the whole time and is actually evil. You're like, holy shit, of course, that makes sense. Oh my gosh, you fight Hilda as a boss, and it's not because she's possessed. It's not because she's like taken over by darkness or anything like that. She's just literally thinks that it's the best thing that she can do to save her kingdom. That is so cool. So Lorule as a kingdom is suffering. Their Triforce, or their version of the Triforce, got broken ages ago. And because it was broken, they're now stuck in a world where resources are sort of like depleting. They know that they could save themselves though if they could take a Triforce. So Yuga, the bad guy, comes to Hilda with a plan. He says, all right, look, you want to save the kingdom, I want the Triforce, okay? We'll both take the Triforce from Hyrule. If we can take the Triforce from Hyrule and put it in Lorule, then we'll have a Triforce here. We can use it to destroy Hyrule if we need to. It's totally fine. And all you gotta do is just follow along with my plan and you'll be okay. And Hilda's like, you know what, fair. And maybe I can also use him a little bit. She pulls an Edelgard where she works with the bad guy for the sake of saving her kingdom, where she starts fighting Link so that she can take the Triforce for herself. And then Ravio realizes this is gonna happen. And he's like, no, wait, no, this is a bad idea. Like, don't do this. You're gonna invoke the wrath of an entire separate kingdom on you. Like, forget whether those people are good or not. This is just not gonna work. You're gonna get killed. So Ravio tries his best to stop this plan, but what can he do? He can't go against Hilda, she's powerful. He can't go against Yuga either, he's crafty. So instead, Ravio takes his wisdom and uses it. He figures out exactly what they're gonna do, takes every item that he needs. I like to think that he actually goes through the rest of the kingdoms and like pulls the items out. And then he goes to Hyrule in search of Link. And he finds Link, except Link has already been... So this isn't shown to you in the game, but it must be what happened. Because when you wake up after fighting Yuga the first time, you wake up in your house, and Yuga has just left you. I assume that Yuga stuck you into a wall as a painting. You would have been dead there, but Ravio saves you. And he tells you this. He's like, hey, I saved you after I found you, like, passed out in the dungeon. But the priest didn't save you. The priest was there. He didn't save you. Ravio did. Which means that the priest must have seen you get turned into a painting and then assumed that both you and his daughter are dead and then left. And then Ravio must have come in, and he has the bracelet that can turn people into paintings, so he pulls you out of the wall and he saves you. And then he hides himself and becomes a merchant and sells you all the items you need. It's so good. Ravio are very golden deer. I mean, a little bit, kinda. He's like, hey, if I can make money, why not? So he goes through it, he hides his identity, he sells you the items you need, and then finally, at the end of the game, he steps out, he pulls back his hood, and he convinces Hilda to do the right thing, and she does. And the ending of the game is very, very cool. Yes, someone actually did talk about, I think in this chat earlier, the fact that the ending is really good. I agree. The fact is, there was an easy answer, right? And Ravio saw it because he was wise, and Zelda sees it because she's wise. So at the end, Zelda and Link go to their own Triforce. Ravio has convinced Hilda now that it's okay, like maybe we don't need a Triforce, okay? Like we'll do our best, we'll go back to our kingdom, but Hyrule doesn't deserve to lose theirs. So Ravio and Hilda go back to Lorule. Link and Zelda go to their own Triforce in the Sacred Realm, and Zelda wishes upon the Triforce to bring back Lorule's Triforce. It's so good. And then you see like a little cutscene of Ravio and Hilda like absolutely shocked as their Triforce comes back. And like, I think they're genuinely like just freaking like sobbing because like, this is it. Their world is saved. Like now they're safe. They can do what they want. And then presumably Hilda wishes on her own version of the Triforce to to save their own world, so Laurel gets to exist again. Now, I have one last thing to say here that is not part of the game, but is part of my own canon plot points, and I do want to say that if I'm gonna rank Ocarina of Time based on the rest of the timeline stories that got pulled into it, also, spoilers are over. I think. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna, yeah, I agree with that, Mars. Okay, spoilers are over. I'm gonna not say any more spoilers. Cool. So one cool thing about Link Between Worlds is also the existence of the rifts. There are rifts that show up. They are explained in the course of the story, so you know why the rifts are showing up, and the rifts exist between Hyrule and Laurel, and they take you back and forth between them. A few years later, in the real world, Echoes of Wisdom would show up and expand upon the concept of the rifts, and Echoes of Wisdom does take place after A Link Between Worlds in the timeline, so I like to think that Null has been there all along, has kind of been like eroding the gaps between the worlds, and Link Between Worlds was the start of that. So you got to see that happening back then, and it's sort of coming into full fruition now. I like to think that Ravio used his wish on the Triforce to keep keep the rifts contained, to stop them from taking effect for another 100 years. So, genuinely one of my favorite games in the entire Zelda franchise, maybe just below Majora's Mask in terms of rating, but like really, really good one nonetheless. So there you go, spoilers done. Okay, alright, everybody back? Cool. Link Between Worlds, it's a solid 5. It's a great story. I do expect, I know it didn't rank too high in some of the other categories, but it ranked decently high, honestly, in some of them too. It's a good game. You should play it. All right, there we go. So, next game, Triforce Heroes. Triforce Heroes does kind of have a story, actually. It doesn't not have a story. It has a story. I'm just saying, I'm ranking Minish Cap a little bit higher because I want to give Triforce Heroes a shout out for having the freaking Hytopia thing. It's kind of funny, okay? I know people hate on Triforce Heroes, but it's hilarious. It's so cool to come from a story like Link Between Worlds and go immediately into freaking Triforce Heroes. The plot of Triforce Heroes is that there's a kingdom that revolves around fashion, and the princess of the kingdom has been cursed so she can only wear a dark brown onesie for the rest of her life, and you have to save her. It's so neat. It has words that show up to almost give a purpose to the mechanics. Yeah, pretty much. This is why it goes in average. Minish Cap gets a point above. I would read Minish Cap as a little fairy tale story, so it gets to go over here. Oracle of Ages and Seasons goes up to Skyward Sword tier. Alright, this is where we currently are. Yeah, it is, that's a story. And there's an evil witch that cursed her, but the evil witch has a sister, and the sister is one of the people in the castle, so she makes your costumes. And the evil witch is also kind of fine. At the end, you basically just beat her, and she's like, okay, fine, whatever. I meant it as a present, goddammit. And then you free the princess, and now she can wear her actual dress again, and not the dark brown onesie. Yeah, that's basically it. But it's cute. Also, the doppels exist in this game. Doppels are wooden clones that you can possess. This is, never explained in the story. But it's, it's kind of dark. For a game that doesn't really talk about it, it's kind of dark. Okay, next. Breath of the Wild. Ooh, okay. Breath of the Wild has a solid story. I think it's genuinely very compelling. I think the way that the gameplay almost ties into the story gives the story extra meaning in Breath of the Wild. Side note, like to think that due to the Northern Palace being in Hytopia, Echo's brother married the Hytopian princess of Echo's Sarah. You know what? It could work. It could work. Alright, I think Breath of the Wild is a solid story. I think it deserves a 4.5. You play as an amnesiac who lost the first war against the people of his world, and he's trying to figure out what's happening. He's trying to figure out what's going on again. And slowly throughout the course of the game, you regain your memories until you can find all your old allies, harness their ghosts to defeat the bad guy once and for all, and end everything. I think that's genuinely very cool. Just 10 out of 10, really cool writing. It doesn't get a 5, it's not yeah, exactly, it doesn't get a 5 purely because it is a light story. You're supposed to kind of fill in the gaps yourself, but what we do see is well placed. It's optional, essentially. Most of the story is optional, but even what we see, the optional stuff is really cool. So, I'm gonna go for the 4.5 here. Tears is gonna be a little bit lower. I think Tears is maybe, would I read it as a book? I'd read it as a book if it was longer. I don't know, there's not much in Tears. Yeah, I think that's cool. The conceit of being an amnesiac and being told the story in pieces as we go through the game is very cool. I like that. This does not happen in Tears. And the problem with Tears' story is that you can kind of figure out the main plot twist of Tears at any point during the game. I won't spoil it because it's not... Yeah, I guess the Zelda aspect was cool, But my problem with it is that you can figure it out really, really early, and then that just means for the rest of the story, yes, for the rest of the story, you can spoil yourself. So the people who have been here on my stream as I played Tears of the Kingdom remember this. I kinda accidentally spoiled myself for the story of Tears of the Kingdom very early in the game. Because, so I played the game, I made sure not to get any story spoilers at all from any other point, just to make sure I wasn't spoiled. But then in the game, I decided right when the hoverbike was created, like the day it was created, I didn't know how powerful it was going to be. So I just made a hoverbike quickly, right, and loaded it up on stream, and I was like, okay, hey guys, I'm gonna go, like, you know, just collect every memory. So I did, and this was before I had finished, like, too many of the dungeons, which means I did, like, at least 2 dungeons, knowing exactly what happened to Zelda. But then the thing is, you know it, and then you can't tell anyone? So we had memes going on back in the day when I played Tears on stream, where one of the 2 little Gorons that goes along with Yunobo, I think his name is Slurgo. Slurgo the Goron is the one NPC who actually realizes that that's not Zelda. Genuinely, none of the other main characters figure this shit out. You would think they would know Zelda better. You would think that, like, Sidon would know Zelda better, but Sidon is just like, what is Zelda doing? Like, this is so strange. But yeah, freaking Slurgo is like, hey, what if that's not Zelda? And I'm like, you're right. You figured it out. Good for you, kid. The plot twist is so obvious. I feel like... So I think it might have been more obvious if I played the story in order. As is, I was spoiled for it before I had enough clues to do anything else. The tears do a lot of the heavy lifting and can be disjointed. Yes, so as I said, I collected the tears and I collected them out of order. Also, fun fact about the tears, there's 2 tiers, the Master Sword tier and the, I think it's, I forgot which other one. There's 2 tiers that sort of spoil the rest of the tiers. Like, since the tiers are a linear story, if you collect them out of order, you just end up spoiling yourself with the part of the story that you're spoiling with the part of the story that you're spoiling. Is there a tier list? Yeah, it's kind of bad. Dagger, thank you. Dagger is one. I think Purapad is the 3rd one, and then Master Sword. Yeah, not only do they spoil the rest of the main plotline, they also spoil all the other tiers. So like, even if you go collect more tiers afterwards, you're just getting like background information. Yes, agreed. Link not being able to talk doesn't make any sense here. Yeah, he could have told everyone. And also, it is canon that Breath of the Wild Link can talk. There's like mentions about it in Zelda's journal from Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild Link was able to talk. He talked with Zelda about food sometimes. He just stayed silent purely because he didn't want people to like get any bad opinions of him because he was the hero. He was meant to be that way. So yeah, And I rank it higher than Skyward Sword. I guess you're right. Ugh. Okay, but it was a good story though, I guess. Was it? I also hate Rauru. Okay, I don't hate Rauru. I don't hate him like I hate Tingle. I dislike Rauru. I'm not a Rauru fan. This is one of the other reasons I think people were asking me this, either in DMs or like on stream at some point. People were like, oh, are you excited for Age of Imprisonment? And I'm like, yes, because it is a Flora game. And I did draw an entire little fan art showing like Flora experimenting with science in the past and stuff. Like I did love that. I wanted that to happen. I'm glad it's happening. But I hate Rauru. He's so boring. He's like the most milquetoast take on a king that I've ever seen. He's just Ocarina of Time King, but with like less of the hatred. TOTK being on the same tier as Skyward Sword when you can spoil yourself feels bad. I mean, is it, are you making me? No, it's good. Flora is the best, yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like Flora. It does 2.5? I'm not ranking tiers that low. Okay, Minish deserves higher. Oh, come on. Okay. This is pretty valid. I feel like these are... Okay. No, Minish deserves higher. Okay, Minish and Ocarina are good stories, no flaws, but nothing special. Alright? The stories in 3 are like... There's a major flaw in the story. I think that's why these are only getting a 3. Tiers can be put in 2.5 above average. That's kind of true. Okay, major flaw in the story. Above average, but major flaw in the story. Average story. Average story, but there's something new. Average story, but like Linebeck carries it super, super high. This is a really good story, and then these are just genuine, brilliant, like I would read a full novelization. I think this is how this works. Alright, and that leaves us with one last game to rank the story of. We have Echoes of Wisdom. Okay, I gotta be super objective here. Alright. Skyward is better than 2.5? No, Skyward isn't better than Tears. If so, both of them become a 3. The only question is whether both of these are, because Tears is good, Skyward is also good, they just have major flaws, versus Oracle where there's nothing much going on, but there's also nothing bad. I'm willing to put them all in the same ranking, actually. Okay, there. Echoes of Wisdom. I have to be objective, okay. Echoes, I don't know. It's a good story. Nothing bad, but nothing... Oh, there is one interesting plot twist. We did mention that. Okay, I think the fact that the world is so solid and everything comes together, yeah. It's a cool concept. I agree. What I really like is the halfway plot spoiler for Echoes. This is only gonna be like a 10-second spoiler. So if you really don't want to get spoiled, just mute yourself for the next like 30 seconds max. And I will type in chat, or I'll tell someone to type in chat once again when we're done with the spoiler. But it's like super minor. So 30 seconds. Okay. Yeah, so in Echoes of Wisdom, you start the game by fighting Ganon as Link. That was really cool. Someone noticed ahead of time that Ganon's eyes were like red and stuff, and it looked really a little bit different from the Ganon that we knew. And then you find out at the halfway point of the game that Ganon is an Echo himself. Like, you're not fighting the real Ganon, you're fighting the Echo that was made by Null, the sort of bigger creature. And also, spoilers over. Okay, here, I'll just, now I have access to this, so spoilers over. Spoilers over, that's it. Super quick spoilers. It's a good story, though. I think it deserves a 4. They do feel, yeah, I think they feel fairly stereotyped overall. This is, I'm kind of deciding, I feel like it's maybe same tier Minish Cap. I think, like, it's either a same tier as Minish Cap, or, like, it gets elevated by the one thing. Other than the Deku. Well, no, they're pretty stereotypical. No, I can agree with that. They're, like, very simple, cute arcs. Kind of like Minish Cap, really. Yeah, that part was really cool. I feel like I'm deciding whether that part brings it up to a 4 or not. I think maybe no. I think Echo stays here. The connection with the Rifts is cool and all, but better side characters than MC? Yeah, I guess. Well, Minish has some pretty fun side characters too, actually. I do like a lot of the Minish. I think a lot of the, like, small NPCs are cute. The world feels more lived in Minish, versus Echoes where, like, the main characters are better. Should be 4 due to the world building? Okay, that's true. That is true, actually. I'm gonna give it points for just sticking to the Zelda timeline, which was honestly sorely needed after Tears. Okay, I think that's it. I think it gets a 4. I'll give it a 4. I think it's worth a 4. Alright. That's the story. Okay, there's gonna be a few more categories, but these are much quicker. So, get ready, folks. We're going lightning round. Next is art and music. Art and music. Okay. And then the description for that is just, I don't know how to describe the art, but the music is just like, how good is the OST? How good are the graphics? 5 on all of them, easy. Zelda is cute. Done. Easy wins. Easy wins. Yeah, how good... Okay, you know what? You know what? Here. How good is the aesthetic design? So this does also include design of the world. I will allow that. So for example, things like Snowhead Temple, Twilight Princess, I said I wouldn't count that as a dungeon thing, so I am counting it here. That counts as an art aesthetic thing. So it's anything that involves like how the game is designed, the graphics, the aesthetic, the music. When you walk into the game, do you feel like you're in a cool world that you want to explore? That's what you're looking for here. Okay. Yeah, the style aesthetic, how well it looks on the hardware. I'm actually not even gonna say how well it looks on the hardware, but just how well it looks, because we are rating all the games from a modern perspective. So like if it looked really cool back in the day, but it doesn't look cool anymore, it doesn't count. Yes, would you, the music, the music is like, would you listen to the OST all on its own? Yes. Okay, all right, I'm gonna reset and keep going. Hold on, reset. No thanks. All right. Let's go here, there, and let's make our categories 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. All right, I think this is gonna be a little bit faster. TLOZ and AOL are cute. They get the point across. There's not too much in there. However, the music is iconic. For both of these, they set the style of the world for so much more time than you would expect. I think AOL gets a 3 on that, honestly, because some of the music in there is still, like, to this day. Yes, agreed. The music is so good to this day. Agreed. I was thinking the exact same thing. I was going to rate it exactly 1 higher because of it. ALTTP, I don't know, good graphics, good music, it's alright. It's about like a little higher than average maybe. Average. Okay. AOL graphics are so bad though. I mean, yeah, they're kind of shitty. But like the music carries. I could honestly move these all down one. Here. Average graphics and music. They could be worse. TLOZ goes down to 1 because of it, maybe. Yeah, the temple theme, agreed. The Great Palace theme, agreed. They're freaking awesome. They're so good. Okay, Link's Awakening. There's not much I remember in terms of the gameplay design changing. Is the music good? Link to the Past at least gets a 2.5. Why? Are they timeless? Are they timeless? Come on. Like, I'm just saying, like, if you play the remake and you play Four Swords on the same cartridge, Four Swords looks a lot better. Like, it's pretty clear. Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm gonna be super objective here. I love ALTTP 2 versus OOT. Well, I mean, like, but this is like modern time though. Ah, can the remake? That's true. I did say rate them based on your favorite remake. So the remake of Link's Awakening I think is a solid step above average, is quite cute. Music is the whole point of Awakening. If I can count the remake that I'm including, yeah, okay, I'm including Ballad of the Windfish. Yeah, we're all gonna fight because you combined art and music. Yeah, true. I am combining art and music though. I can't separate those two. I think they're like very, very interconnected. Because it's just all part of the aesthetic and vibe. I'm putting Link's Awakening in here just because, all the way up here in 3.5. Just because of the, I mean, I can separate art and music, but I'm not gonna do that. Music is the whole point of Awakening. I think the, like, so for example, I think the art, actually, it could be a 3. I think the art of Link's Awakening is still, like, pretty average. It's not great, but it's not too bad. And then the music is solid to, like, on par. Maybe even a 3 and a 4, so then I guess that does bring it back up to 3.5. Okay, I'm okay with that. Ocarina, yeah, I don't know, I wasn't too impressed either by the music or by the graphics. I mean, it's 3D. Majora also kind of falls under the same thing, except the music is better. I don't know, I think the music is better in Majora, so I'm putting it up here in 3. Oracle of Ages and Seasons. OOT is the best OST in the franchise? See, this is the subjective part, by the way. I did say this. Art and music is gonna be super subjective. Is it? Okay, what's iconic about OOT music? People like the whole, like, overworld theme, right? Like the title screen theme. No, I have played both Ocarina on 3DS and N64. They were okay. 3DS animation was alright. It wasn't great. It was alright. I like TP's OST better. Agreed. Okay, Saria's Tongue, that's true. Zelda's Lullaby does come from OOT. Frick. Okay, that is true. Fine, 2.5. Oops, I put the wrong row. Delete row. That's true, Zelda's Lullaby. Forgot about that. Fine. Fine. Saria's Song is iconic, but I don't like it. You're right, though. This is objective, so I'll put it in here. Forest Song. It's basically, it's not even Saria's Song. It's the Skull Kid song. Come on, we all know it. ALTTP has better instrumentation than OOT. Okay, which game did Telltale Heights first? Didn't ALTTP did Telltale Heights, right? Okay, you guys are convincing me to split up music and art. Am I gonna do that? I can't do that. I can't add more categories. There's already so many categories. I'm not doing that. We're ranking both. AOL down here. ALTTP goes up here. Maybe. Actually, no, wait. The music of AOL is more catchy than the graphics of ALTTP. Link's Awakening had Telltale Heights? Okay, that actually cements its place in 3.5. Good. That is a soundtrack of the ages. Okay, Oracle of Ages and Seasons. I don't think there's anything too important here, actually. I think it's basically just average. Music was good. It was fine. Graphics were fine. They did the point. They carried across. Majora should be in a higher slot. Look at the game promotional art. Oh, true. Okay, I forgot about the fact that the theme plays into the story. I agree. I'm moving it up at 3.5, but I'm not going any higher than that, I think. The music does heavy carry it. I agree. I said this and I'll say it again. Majora's Mask music much better than Ocarina of Time. Yes. The Clocktown theme is unsettling as frick, especially when it starts playing faster. Holy shit. The creepiness is definitely part of it. Stone Tower Temple remains one of the best themes in the game. Yeah, I can't forget that. This is true. AOL does get bonus points for Hyrule Temple and Smash. That's why it's in 2.5. Yeah, I know. That's why it's all the way up here. Otherwise, it would be down in 1. AOL is up here just purely for music. This is gonna be very hard. I agree. Don't worry. I'll rate it. I'll include this in less weight on the overall ranking scale. because it's just so subjective, but it does work. It does make sense. Okay, it's fine. As we go on, because the way that this is working, as we go on, we're gonna get higher and higher rankings, so. 8-bit graphics hold up better than some of the 3D graphics. I agree. I actually think that Ocarina of Time doesn't hold up very well, which is why it's down here. Majora gets this high purely because of the music and aesthetic. Link's Awakening, also music and aesthetic a little bit. And also the remake. The remake drags Link's Awakening up here. And Ballad of the Windfish. Ballad of the Windfish is a masterpiece of music. It is so cool. I have written an entire scene in Secrets We Keep based on the Ballad of the Windfish, and you guys, some of you know what it is. Yeah, this is the Pitchfork segment. I said it in the beginning and I'll say it again. This is the Pitchfork segment. Everybody feel free to get up in arms. I am glad to hear it. Convince me either way. I am here to be convinced. This is the Scales of Conviction from Triangle Strategy. You can convince my vote. So go for it. Yeah, Link's Awakening, Ballad of the Windfish is amazing. The game itself has you collecting 8 instruments throughout the course of the game, and the objective of the game is to play one song. So, freaking incredible. That one song is orchestrated to include all of those 8 instruments in order as they come in. It is very, very cool. Genuinely good musical design. Actually, the order is swapped for the first 2. I do find that a little bit annoying, but there's no way they could have gotten around it. So, but yeah. This is true, yes. Majora's Mask does also have a Ballad of the Windfish. I addressed this in Secrets We Keep as well. So Time does know the Ballad of the Windfish, but it's not the Ballad of the Windfish. It's a completely different song, and it plays in like one bar once, and it's completely unrelated. Okay, Four Swords. Yeah, there's not much going on in Four Swords, but like aesthetic is actually cuter than The Legend of Zelda. I think it's a 1.5. It's cute. It's cute, but it doesn't have too much going on other than that, I feel like. Link to the Past had the original version of Zelda's Lullaby and Castle theme. Did it? What? Really? Okay. Okay. That's gonna get me to swap Ocarina and ALTTP. Yeah. If it, I'll believe you. I'll believe Mars. Mars knows what they're talking about. Then I'm swapping these two. I'm dying, Lynn. It's okay, don't worry about it. This is gonna be the most subjective category. I said it. It's fine. I have to go as objectively as possible, which means I'm gonna rank things not based on how much I enjoy them, but based on how iconic they are, based on how well the aesthetic works with the story. I cannot judge them based on how much I like them. It's just based on iconicness. And how much they're, like just good. Okay, Wind Waker. I don't know, it's pretty good. Wind Waker has a solid aesthetic. The music is also just top tier. It might be 4, it might be 5. I could be easily argued to put Wind Waker higher. Four Swords Adventures. Yeah, it's alright, I guess. It's like average. Yeah, Wind Waker is great, the music is lovely. I could sing both of the, and it ties in perfectly to the story. In Wind Waker, there's the sort of like title theme has 2 parts to it, and each of those parts is respectively the 2 songs that you play with Medley and Makar to bring back the Master Sword. So it really does all tie together. I love things like that. Yeah, the cel-shaded graphics are very cute, and they lead to the first open world, which is amazing. Being able to sail in a vast ocean and go anywhere you want is very, very cool. To this day, it maintains its like splendor to it. It is a little bit open, but that's okay. Yes, I agree. I did play the original GameCube version of Wind Waker. I know that there's an HD remake. I've never played it. I don't know if it's good. Yeah, Quickest Rate, only one I agree with. Yeah, fair. Yes, the ocean theme is great. I agree. Okay, Minish Cap. Once again, solid aesthetic, very cute. It's maybe a step below Wind Waker, but that's as low as I'll put it. Like, it's either 3.5 or 4, Minish Cap. Because the acute aesthetics just sells it. Mad about the horrendously unrealistic stealth physics. I mean, you have like a magic wand that can control the wind wand. Like, what are we gonna get? Full 4, honestly. Yeah. I think Minish Cap is sold by its aesthetic. I agree. Minish Cap proves that you can put really, really cute sprites on a very small console, so I'm keeping it there. Music is also very cute. Lots of good songs in Minish Cap. I specifically really like one theme. I think it's the Minish Woods theme, I want to say. Yeah, I know that one really well. It's a great theme. Comes from this, so it's fine. It's 4. Okay, true. Teehee, it's 4. Fine, you're right. It gets a 4 because of Four Swords. Alright, Twilight Princess. Yeah, it's gotta be a 4, or even higher, right? Twilight Princess has some really iconic music. Like, just insanely good music. And the world is kind of dark and edgy, but it fits the theme that they're going for. I'll take it. the designs are just so wacky. Like, I'm looking at Twilight Princess and I'm like, what the frick is going on with that guy's face? Like, holy shit. Also, Mallow Mart theme is amazing. I loved Mallow. I think people hated Mallow, right? Aren't there people who hated Mallow? Well, you guys are wrong. Mallow is amazing. Can I bribe you to swap AOL and OOT? You want me to put... Okay, you know what? I'll put OOT over here. I think Ocarina of Time, it's a classic. It has... I guess it didn't really start anything, but it did start the whole 3D vibes. I'm putting it in 2.5. It's not going any higher than that. Mallow is not a worse tingle! What? What? No! Mallow is like... I appreciate it, haha. You didn't even need to bribe me, I guess. I did it for free, but I'm not moving AOL any lower, I guess. Yeah, capitalism, baby, come on. Come on, he's so cool. He's like a tiny child. For people who don't know Mallow, sorry, we got sidetracked by Mallow, but for people who don't know Twilight Princess, Mallow is an infant. He's like maybe like 4 at best. He's this like infant child who's just extremely sassy and very, very capitalistic to the point where he starts like a really well-known franchise selling items in the Zelda world, and people start like flocking to his stores and buying them in droves. You like finance his expansion into the Castletown district. It's so good. He was Boss Baby before Boss Baby. I freaking love Mallow. He's amazing. I hated Tingle, but I love Mallow. I think they're the opposites. Mallow is the anti-Tingle. Yes! Wait, it makes sense. Tingle is a like adult man who thinks he's a child. Mallow is a child who knows he's an adult. It is so cool. Okay. Yeah, Wind Waker did have Pirate Zelda for the first time. I think the pirate aesthetic is what gets Wind Waker all the way up here in 4. It might honestly tie with Twilight Princess. I'm kind of tempted to move it up to 4.5. Because I think Wind Waker and Twilight Princess do very, very well at their respective jobs, but they do equally well at them. It's just that they're very different. I think a lot of people back in the day actually used to be either a Wind Waker fan or a Twilight Princess fan. So I talked about this back in my day. I was a Wind Waker fan, and it was sort of like, it was like a you're one or the other type of thing. Like either you like the pirates or you like the vampires and werewolves, you know? Either you like the cel-shaded cute graphics and the like kind of darker themes, or the dark and moody overworld but with the lighter themes. There was a sort of split in the fan base after Ocarina, where people either followed Twilight or Wind, and I like that. I think it's really cool. I do think Wind Waker's art style aged well, but I think Twilight's connects a little bit more with the game, so points to each. Yes, Mallow does sell you the magic armor that drains your rupees. I remember that. That was a great time. Oh man, good times. Okay, what else? Phantom Hourglass. Okay, so aesthetic and music. I think it's about the same rating, maybe a little lower, maybe like a 3. It's a solid 3. It's cute. It's cute, but it's less cute than like Minish Cap, which just runs on cuteness. The music is definitely very good, but it's not as good as say like Majora or Link's Awakening. It doesn't tie in super well to the story. Ocean King's theme is freaking peak, but it's gonna be down here, yeah. ST and PH have very similar graphics, but Spirit Tracks gets 1 extra point at least because the music is better. Yeah, the DS Zeldas do suffer aesthetically just a little bit, not by too much, but just a little bit. Maybe enough to drag it down a point from like Wind Waker. Spirit Tracks goes either 3.5 or 4. I could be convinced either way. Actually, 4. I think all the way up to 4 for this. The trains are very cute. Yes, the theme is better. I think the music in Spirit Tracks just brings it all the way up. Yeah, the train outfit, very cute. I do agree with that. Good aesthetic. Trains are cool. Yeah. Trains are cool. Tower Spirits is cool. The Phantom Armor being worn for the first time, really cool. Love that. Character style is wonky though. It's okay. I'm fine with the character style actually. It's the same character style between Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, and Wind Waker. They've all got the same things. 5 for best public transportation. I mean, it depends on how you play Spirit, right? So Spirit in Wisdomverse is like a very rule-following stickler for the law, because that's how you should be playing Spirit Tracks. You gotta follow all the laws or else the passengers get mad. But I was watching my friend Sunshine play through Spirit Tracks recently, because she has half finished the game twice. Like, she always gets up to the end and then doesn't finish the game. So she was playing the game, and like, she's going everywhere. She's like hard braking, she's like turning, she's like not listening to the rule that says blow your horn at a certain point. And the customers are getting angrier and angrier until they just freaking get off the train and leave in the middle, and I didn't even know they could do that, man. He's like, what the frick? I'm walking home. And I'm like, no, you're not. This is like an ice palace. What the frick are you doing? Get back on my train. You're gonna freeze to death out here. Oh, man. Good times. Okay, Skyward Sword. Genuinely very good as well. I think either a 4 or a 4.5. No, music. Oh, gosh. Okay, how could I forget? The music of Skyward Sword just carries it. It's so good. I think the art style I did like a little bit less than Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, which just tie into their themes so well, but the music is just freaking amazing. Okay, all three of these games do an amazing job of both representing their world with the aesthetic. Yes, okay, true. I do love Lanayru, however, that is a puzzle thing. The Sand Sea, I agree. Okay, maybe it brings it up to 5. I don't know. Art feels generic. Okay, that's true. I think the art just a little... I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier. The art is like a 4, but the music is a solid 5. So we're on like 4.5. The music is stellar. SS has the best music. Yes, I agree. I think it's the first game with proper live orchestra music, and it is very, very good. Yes, I agree. Music and design is so good. You fly on an awesome bird. True. True. Birds are cool. However, pirates are cool. I'm just saying. Pirates are cooler. True. It took the uniqueness from the franchise to try and make it modern. Oh, interesting. I didn't actually see any of that. I thought the world was a little bit different, actually. The world is too empty for any hire. Interesting. Okay, I don't know if... I think that one goes more into story, maybe even. Zerio did a live orchestral recording of TP soundtrack. Okay, cool, but not in the canon games. That doesn't count. Cool, but doesn't count. Yes, Ballad of the Goddess is freaking insane. However, I am still a little bit miffed about Ballad of the Goddess. It is Zelda's Lullaby, but backwards, which is cool. And that would have been really neat in the next game, Link Between Worlds. Because there is an inverse Zelda in Link Between Worlds, except they already used the inverse song of the lullaby, Zelda's Lullaby, so they couldn't use it again. And I didn't like that. I was like, frick. How dare they? That said, I think, yeah, just a game that thrives on aesthetic. It's really cute to be able to, like, merge into the wall. They did the animations really well there. Ravio is freaking adorable. I love it. It doesn't rate as well as, like, the 4.5 games, definitely. But the music's good. It's got some good soundtracks in there. It could be, I'd say, like, either 3.5 or 4. I think either Spirit Tracks level or slightly less. I think music isn't as good as Spirit Tracks, so I'm kind of tempted to move it down here to, like, 3.5. Minish Cap survives on aesthetics, so it gets to keep its 4. Yeah, maybe down here to 3.5. I think this fits. Okay, Triforce Heroes. The music of Triforce Heroes is genuinely stellar. I'm just saying. It's really, really good music. However, the gameplay and aesthetic... No, you know what? It's so fun. Come on. Okay, I guess I can't rate it. I can't in good conscience rate Triforce Heroes aesthetic the same as Ocarina of Time or ALTTP. So I'm gonna put it here. But it's fun, okay? Just know that it is a fun aesthetic. You get to dress up in different costumes and go play different things and lift other links and chuck them off of cliffs, okay? And the music is also really, really good. I love Triforce Heroes music. If you haven't heard the music from TH, go listen to it. It's good. All right, and with that, we're coming to our 5s. Breath of the Wild does an amazing job with both the sound design, the music, the aesthetic. You wake up in the world and you see that entire land laid out in front of you, and for the first time, I was like, holy shit. Like, that just had me breathless playing the game. So yep, straight 5. I am a little miffed about the fact that there aren't as many motifs as I would have liked. I like it when there are motifs in Zelda games. There are some motifs, like Durug's theme is it's nice, it happens. Less music than I would have expected, but it fits the theme of, like, having the wild. Very cool. So yeah, keeping it up here. And I have to say Tears is the same. I think, I don't think I can, like, penalize Tears for anything in the aesthetic category. The aesthetic is just as good, if not better. Genuinely, like, amazing. Intro is peak, yes. Like, for the first time, you walk out there, you see the entire world, and, like, they had told us beforehand, like, I was there for all the trailers before Breath of the Wild's release, okay? Like, when we saw the first trailer, where they did the whole, like, he jumps up in the air and he shoots a guardian with an ancient arrow, we were all shocked. We were like, what the frick? This is insane! And then they did the trailer after that, which is the one where they introduced, like, freaking, the characters for the first time. There's like a 1-second shot of Sidon shaking Link's hand. There's a 1-second shot of Rivali flying into the sky, and we were like, holy, what? This is the Rito? There's Ritos? There's Zoras? There's characters? You mean you're gonna get, like, the insane gameplay that you showed us in that previous trailer, but with all these cool characters and stories? That's such a cool aesthetic. And then, like, the first time you open the game and you walk out and you see the whole world, and they're like, yeah, everything in that land, everything you see there, you can travel to. That was neat. I loved it. Can you zoom out a bit? Yeah, hold on. I think it's a little bit small in it. Yes, thank you. Here. You can see almost everything now, I think. The only one in 1 is Legend of Zelda, and I'm actually going to move it up to 1.5 because I feel like it deserves it. Here. Nothing deserves a 1. Yeah, everything the light touches is reachable, is within your domain. Mifa is such a... I actually don't like Mifa. 1 is now gone. It's okay, I moved it up. It's all good. Yeah, very cool. Same feeling from OOT all over again. I agree. However, once again, I'm rating them for the modern day. I didn't get that feeling when playing Ocarina of Time because I played it so much later. So I did get that feeling when I played Breath of the Wild because it like still feels like that to this day. like if I were to open up Breath of the Wild and walk out there now, I'd be like, holy shit, you can go there. Like, that's neat. Right now in Ocarina of Time, there are other games that do it better, but we're rating this based on 2025, near the 40th anniversary of the Zelda series, and yeah. Breath of the Wild still got it. It's been like nearly 10 years almost. Really cool though. Yes, Tears has amazing sky aesthetic. I do agree. I am sad that there were so few sky islands. I cleared out the entire sky and then I was like, what else do I have to do? Like, no. I am a little mad about the caves though. They're really boring. I don't like the caves in Tears. Okay, and that leaves us with the last game to rate, Echoes of Wisdom. I think it's a solid game, really cute aesthetic. Cute music. I do love the main theme and Tri's theme, but other than that, it's not as music-y as I would have liked. I was a little bit hyped when I heard the main theme. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. It's kind of Triforce Heroes-ish. Like, it's got that vibe to it. But there was less of that than I expected. Triforce Heroes has a new soundtrack every level. Echoes of Wisdom doesn't have that. It's underrated, I agree, but it's not like that underrated. It's not underrated to the level that like TP, Wind Waker, and Skyward Sword have it. So it's good, but it's not that good. It does survive off of cuteness. Kind of very similar to Minish Cap, actually, so I'm gonna put it here. Yes, it had a cute low-key sound. I agree. Yeah, main theme is great. I think if you go to my Instagram page, my main theme on Insta is either the Echoes of Wisdom opening or it's like Romance in the Air from Skyward Sword or something. Or it could be Fi's theme. I don't know. There's a lot of Zelda soundtracks I like, but this is one of them, okay? Malgriff and Scorchill, they have pretty good themes, but definitely not beating like Wind Waker's Molgera theme, or Tears of the Kingdom's Colgera theme, which is not related, but I mean, okay, the bosses are related, the themes are unrelated. So, it works. Hyrule theme being the same. It is the same. I thought that was nice, actually. It was kind of nostalgic. I liked it. I thought it was cute. So I'm not going to give it any minus points for that, yeah. Echoes deserves at least a 4. I agree. Looks like a diorama. It's just very cute, yeah. They took the Link's Awakening remake style and they improved off of it. That's why Link's Awakening is all the way up here, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Sword Fighter Zelda, but it does play a theme. There is an epic theme that goes with it. I did not. So my playthrough of Echoes of Wisdom was on a challenge run. If you want, by the way, anyone who's watching this, you can see that on YouTube too. I'll put a link somewhere, but it's also just on my YouTube, Linda Rose YT, if you want to go see that. But yeah, I played through Echoes of Wisdom with a challenge. I did no beds, no hard mode, no beds, no healing, no link mode, so you can't fight with the sword, etc. And then, yeah, it does play like a little hero motif. It plays the main theme of Echoes of Wisdom. So there's two main themes of Echoes of Wisdom. There's two motifs that get repeated. There's the like main hero motif, and that plays when you go sword fighter form, or if you're like in the open overworld. And then I think also at the beginning of the game. And then there's Tri's theme, which plays when Tri does anything, which is cute. I like it. They're both good. Yeah. No, they're not quite the same as the classic Hyrule Field overworld theme. It's different. The Echoes of Wisdom like overworld theme is a different theme. It's not like the normal one. It's like its own theme that exists. But it's a good one. It's a very good song. Okay, and with that, we're done with art, music, and aesthetics. Alright, that's that. I have now one last category to actually rank, which is to say, novelty. Was this game innovative for its time? How good was this game for its time? And, unlike the other categories, I also won't be ranking this on a scale of 1 to 5. I will be ranking this on a scale of 0, 1, or 2. It was innovative, or it wasn't innovative, or it was like super, super innovative and like genre defining. This is basically the only thing I think this needs. So I'm gonna download this image real quick. No thanks, cool. I'm gonna reset the scale, and I'm actually gonna go through and delete some categories, and hopefully we don't have to, yeah, you don't have to make a note of it, that's fine. I appreciate you making notes of things, by the way. Shout out. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Go through the series. We're gonna go real fast with this one. I'm not even gonna think about it too much. We get a 2, a 1, or a sweet release. Pumpkin is free. You transform into a great fairy and fly away immediately. You're like, I'm out of here. Alright. Yeah, Legend of Zelda is genre defining. Adventure of Link, it's not quite genre defining, but it was genre defining. A Link to the Past, genre defining. Link's Awakening didn't do anything too new. Ocarina of Time, like one of the first 3D games ever. Majora's Mask, genuinely quite cool. Like, I love what it did with the 3-day time skip and like the storage, pretty fun. Oracles, doesn't do anything new. Four Swords, I guess it's like one of the first multiplayers. Is that new? It wasn't like one of the first multiplayer games, so I think there had been other multiplayer games before Four Swords, right? Four Swords is what? 2002? There were multiplayer games. Yeah, there were multiplayer games before that, probably. Okay, Wind Waker. Yeah, a little bit. Not like super, super defining, but it's defining. Four Swords Adventures, nothing new. Minish, nothing new. Yeah, agreed, Wind Waker's the one. Twilight Princess, nothing new. I don't think anything was new in Twilight. Phantom Hourglass. I'm tempted. Like DS controls? Motion controls on TP? There were motion controls in Twilight Princess? Wait, what? I didn't know about that. Really? Wait, really? Were they good? I thought Skyward Sword did that. Yep. Okay, how did... I never played this, clearly. Because I played on an emulator, like on a keyboard. How did that work? There's a GameCube in the Wii versions, yeah. I thought even in the Wii, like my friend had it on the Wii. Cadence played it on the Wii and I watched her. No, they were terrible. Oh, it wasn't that great, okay. I remember watching Cadence play Twilight Princess on the Wii and she just pressed buttons like she didn't swing the remote. I played it on like an emulator later. Oh, it's why you don't like TP. Okay, I'm not counting it then. If it's bad, then it doesn't count. Spirit Tracks? Either Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass both go up. Oh, had something new? You can play it with the Wii? How is that new? Wait, I mean, other games are playable on Wii, right? Different controllers were used? Oh, other games had been backwards compatible before then, I think. So, for example, you could play the GameCube copy of Wind Waker on the Twilight Princess. Oh, if you mean the motion control, we just talked about that, yeah. I was wondering whether motion control for Twilight Princess counts, and if it was bad, people are saying it was bad. People are saying it was bad, so it doesn't count. If it's bad, it doesn't count as innovation, because that's just something that people didn't like. Doesn't count then, doesn't count. I'm tempted to put Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks both in one for the double control Zelda. Oh, Phantom Hourglass does it first. Sorry, video lagged. Oh, no worries. Okay, not a problem. Yeah, just wanted to make sure that I'm not missing anything that anyone's saying too. I mean, I know I'm not going to be able to read all of chat, by the way. If I missed your comment anywhere throughout the last, like, I don't know, 3 hours, then I apologize. It happens sometimes. Such is the way. Okay, Phantom Hourglass, I think it does actually get about a 1. It has 2 separate 0.5s. This is one of the first games where you can do, like, double control. Oh, no, Majora's Mask does double controlling first. Yeah, never mind. Spirit had controllable Zelda, but this is actually not the first character we've been able to control as non-Link. Cafe is controllable in Majora's Mask. Touchscreen controls is what gets Phantom Hourglass a 1. Spirit Tracks did not do that first. And if you're talking about being able to control Zelda with touchpad, Phantom Hourglass also does that first. In the Goron dungeon, you do a double dungeon with Gongaron, who is like a minor NPC who actually accompanies you for an entire dungeon. He plays the role that Medley and Makar play in Wind Waker. He's very cute, I love them. But yes, we have had other games in which we can control other non-Link characters. So this is not... Spirit Tracks doesn't do that first. Okay, Skyward Sword. Yeah, obviously genre-defining. I genuinely do think that the the swinging of the sword was legit. I thought it was very cool. Yeah. Swing the remote to trigger sword attack. Oh, okay, rather than swing the remote to trigger. Okay, I see. Yeah, Skyward Sword did that very well, though, so I'm putting it up here. Link Between Worlds. Nothing new, I think. Gameplay mechanics don't count. Triforce Heroes, I'm actually gonna put in 1. I think the multiplayer was genuinely very cool. Died a little bit. Genuinely very cool. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. Breath of the Wild, genre-defining. So many other games after it copied Breath of the Wild. Genshin Impact, hashtag. Okay, Tears. I think the entire mechanics of, like, the building system is pretty genre-defining. And then Echoes of Wisdom, is the summon system enough to get it a 1? I think is basically the only thing that counts. Echoes of Wisdom having Zelda as the main character is unfortunately not genre-defining. It doesn't count. Golden Goddesses, yeah, but playing as Zelda, not genre-defining. That's a character and story decision that factored into the story. I think it's either a 1 or a 0. It's definitely not a 2. Yes, Breath of the Wild was... Actually, Wind Waker was the first open world that was actually open, I will say. Breath did it after Wind Waker. Goddesses talking is a story thing, definitely not a genre thing. Yeah. Depend on if the summoning mechanic... I'm actually not gonna say that. So, for example, Skyward Sword's swinging of the Wii Remote is not gonna carry over to future games. However, I do think it is genre-defining nonetheless. It's new, it's novel, it's interesting. Also, I did the wrong grammar here. This is incorrect. How dare I? Introduce anything new. Yeah, like this. There we go. Okay. Alright, there we go. Like in terms, will it become something new to Zelda's? Ah, I see. Okay, I'm not really counting that though. I'm putting Echoes in 1. I don't think it gets any higher than 1. Yeah, it's kind of Pokemon, but Pokemon doesn't do it as well as Echoes does. I think when I started my Echoes of Wisdom review, you guys can check this out too if you want. Echoes of Wisdom review, genuinely quite fun. When I did my live review of Echoes, I think the first thing I said in the intro was like, I was like, Echoes of Wisdom is the best Pokemon game I've ever played. And it's true. It's heckin' true. Okay, cool. And now, with that, we're actually done with all the rankings, but we have one last category to add. Believe it or not, I have been, for the last week or so, hosting a poll in which I got all of the community's opinions on all of the Zelda games. And as I said then, I do say so now, I will be putting the entire community ranking in here, hold on, as a separate category. I do not need this noted, because believe it or not, I have the results. And you guys get to see them. Here they are. So this is exactly what people voted on the poll. I went ahead and just... So I actually haven't looked at this either, by the way. I went ahead and set up all the forums and stuff. I work in computer science and machine learning for like a job, okay? So I know how to do this shit. I went ahead and did all the results and just set them up, and they filter automatically into the form, so I haven't seen this. There's a graph on the side that's going to show me the average scores and stuff, and let me tell you how to interpret this, by the way. So, I also went ahead and separated them based on where people came from, because I was curious. I was like, I wonder if certain communities are going to lower the score from other things. And it turns out that... okay, let's take a look. So the way you should read this, by the way, is these are the averages from Twitch, averages from Tumblr, and the averages from Insta, where those specific communities, I told everyone to, like, when you entered the poll, you put in where you got it through. Yeah, if you decided, Twitch and Discord are the same thing. Here. Real quick. Actually, can I even change it? I think I might be able to. I don't want to break something accidentally. I think the rows are up top, right? Okay, I'll just note it here. Discord. I think that should be safe. There. Nope, it broke everything. Okay, as expected. I knew it would. Because I set all this up to... I set all this up to pull from other data cells. So, yeah. Lynn Majora's Mask propaganda was effective. Let's go! Yeah, you're right. And the overall score, by the way, is what you should be looking at. So this score right here tells you what most people thought about the game. Can everyone see all the scores? It looks like you can. Yes. Good. And then they're also color-coded. So anything that's in the red is just below like 2.5 or 3. I think maybe 3 is like mid-tier here. And then, yeah, anything above a 3 is going to be like color-coded hard green. Anything with like a color that's even harder on the green means that it's higher rated. So you see like all the games with like green all the way through on here means that they're just really highly rated. And also, the other... Oh. Yeah, the other thing that I want to... oh, it broke. Oh, Tumblr is harsher because some people weren't in this... Ah, yeah. So another thing actually I do want to note is that I think less people responded in general on Instagram. I have more followers on Instagram, but it makes sense that, like, you know, I think people usually on Instagram tend to be, like, here for, like, a quick looking at artwork and then moving on type of thing, versus both Tumblr and my Twitch communities, where we really discuss shit. You know what I mean? Like, we sit there and, like, talk about things on both Tumblr and on Twitch and Discord. So, yeah, definitely see that. So Insta is gonna be like a little bit less. Nope, no Blue Sky. I didn't really have enough people that on my community on Blue Sky that I could put here. I actually did try posting it on my Reddit, and then Reddit took it down. I think they don't like polls on Reddit, which is fair. I lurk on Reddit all the time. I'm a huge proponent of the r/Zelda community. I've been there for a while, but I don't really post my artwork there, so I don't have a Reddit, so it's unfortunate. Okay, yeah, let's take a look. So it looks like Zelda 2 is unanimously the worst game? Shit. No. Why? Why would they do this to me? Frick. Oh my god, everybody agreed. Wait, damn it. Okay, hey, I love Zelda 2. Heck. No. Oh gosh, okay, well, it's okay. It's fine. Just barely above average. I told people that 2 was average, so just barely above average. People hate AOL because it's hard, and they're probably right to do so. AOL is a very difficult game. I would not have been able to finish it. It's definitely for a reason, yeah. Yeah, I would not have been able to finish Adventure of Link and Zelda 1 without the use of save states, so yeah, I get that. Very sad. Okay, cool. Looks like ALTTP is universally beloved, but I didn't expect it to be this low, actually. I thought ALTTP would be higher. It seems a lot of people ranked it... Insta brought it down. But Insta has less people. There's less people in here, so it's gonna be less affecting the overall score. So, weird. Oh, really? Okay, that's true, actually. It seems as if... well, no, actually, Four Swords Adventures did even worse on Insta, huh? It looks like Tumblr brought up... Oh, of course it did! Of course it did! Oh, this makes so much sense! Tumblr saved FSA because of Bio and Shadow! That's brilliant. Oh, the ad is starting? Oh, that's unfortunate. Wow, that's such bad timing. I can't do anything about that. Okay, we're gonna chill here for a little bit. We'll chill here for a little bit and talk about the scores. How about that? That's so funny. That's so good. Oh, man. Genuinely pleased and shocked. Good job, Tumblr. Yeah. we love 4 on Tumblr. It's not even because of 4's games. It's purely because of... Oh, yeah, let me talk about the variance column. Thank you. Yeah, I'll explain that in a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, Vito winning on Tumblr. Let's go. As someone who equally ships... So, by the way, yeah, as the creator of Wisdomverse, if you want to ship Dot and 4, go ahead. If you want to ship Bio and Shadow, go ahead. If you want to ship... Hold on. I'm going to figure out which parts of the triangle. If you want to ship Shadow and Dot, go ahead. There we go. I think I covered all 3 of them, didn't I? Yes. Green and Dot are in a thing. Vio and Shadow are in a thing. Dot and Shadow are in a thing. 4 is 1 person. Done. Okay. Done. There we go. Yeah, Instagram is a little bit lower across the board. There are also the fewest votes, but it seems that Insta people just like things less. There's nothing I know about that. Yeah, as I said, less votes. Less votes by a significant margin on Insta. Many more people came in on Twitch and Tumblr. And by the way, shoutouts to everyone. Yeah, averages, it shouldn't matter that much, but I think in general, they also seem to be harsher. Yeah. And then lastly, I'll explain the variance after the ad break. I don't want to have to explain it again. How about that? Sorry, Juan. I'll wait a little bit. We're waiting for the ads, don't worry. Okay, I'm gonna keep looking at things. ALTTP, well-liked. Link's Awakening, more well-liked than I thought, actually. I guess it makes sense, considering that Secrets We Keep is Marin-focused. I expect people here to like Link's Awakening a little bit more, huh? Minish Cap getting only 4s. Wait, it did! That's so good! Oh, that's hecking hilarious! Wait, this is so good. I didn't rig that or anything. Minish Cap is the Four Swords Adventures, is one of the Four Swords Adventures games. It's Destiny, yeah. I did not rig this, and many people played this. It's not like there's 2 people or anything. This poll was definitely filled out by a lot of people. How did you do this? Genuinely good. Genuinely hecking good. Gotta love 4. Hilarious. Oh man, okay, Link's Awakening is out here getting a, what, 3.9? Okay, it's pretty neat. This is like 4 winning the Blorbo pools on Dot Day. True. Oh man. Ocarina of Time, well liked, okay. I expected ALTTP to be higher than Ocarina by a significant margin. I guess it's not. Majora's Mask is also not as high as I expected, but solidly high. This is fine. This is okay. Minish Cap being 444 is CH true. CH mod 4. Do you pronounce it Chmod, by the way? I pronounce it Chmod. Like in my head, when I type it out, I go Chmod. Yeah, read only. It's hilarious. Oh man, okay. TIL Tumblr loves Twilight Princess. Oh yeah. Well, no, I mean, Insta 4.5 as well. I think Twitch just hates Twilight Princess. This is weird. Yeah, MM is not as high as I want, I agree. But being in the upper rankings is good enough for me. Wind Waker higher than I expected. Holy shit. Let's go. The highest rated. Oh, wait, did Wind Waker win? Oh, I think so. No way. Wind Waker beat Breath of the Wild? That's insane. I didn't expect that. I expected Breath of the Wild, Wind Waker, Majora in that order. I may have brought down the Twilight Princess. It was just Moose. It's okay, it's not just one person. Enough people filled this out that it's definitely not one person. Insta... Is the youngest following of the 3 categories? Ah, yeah, it might be. Definitely might be, yeah. That could be true. I think Tumblr skews like mid and Twitch skews a little bit older, maybe. Makes sense. Echoes of Wisdom beat Tears? Shit, you're right! It's hilarious. Oh man, Majora and TP tied? No way. That's not deserved. Oh, you're right. You're right. Exact averages. Holy shit. That's kind of insane. With this many people voting? That's definitely insane. Why? Majora deserves higher than this. It's the Insta crowd. No, by the way, these are not voted, they're not weighted based on Insta. So Insta's like a lesser effect of the overall score. So like, for example, if you were to average these 3 scores out, you would not get this number. This number is based on the average overall of all people. And also this is a good time for me to bring up variance. So variance here, you can think of it, for the people who are not too much into statistics or math, you can think of it as like, how much do people agree on this vote? Things like that. Yeah, trust the science, right? I'm here to explain the science to you. Don't worry. I work in machine learning. I got this shit. I do this for a job, and now I'm here doing this for fun, too. Variance, for the people who, by the way, who do know statistics, it's just the standard deviation. This is the STD, so you probably know that. But if you don't know statistics, you can just think of it as, like, how much do people agree on the fact that this game is good or bad? And then I've also color-coded it for your convenience. The lower the number, the more people agree. So, for example, everybody agrees that Wind Waker is the best game. Which is neat. Which is so cool. That means Wind Waker's rankings are just all near the top of the charts, which is super neat. I think that's genuinely, like, I think most people who played Wind Waker enjoyed it, and I think that's cool. Meanwhile, we can see that the least agreed upon game, Triforce Heroes. Makes sense to me. I think a lot of people really, really love Triforce Heroes, but a lot of people also hate Triforce Heroes, so I can see the ratings being, like, across the board. People are giving it 1s, people are giving it 5s, it's, like, just all the way. So, me, I love it. Echoes of Wisdom in top 10, woo! So what does that mean our winners are? I think it's Wind Waker, and then Breath, right? No, it's not! Whoa! Twilight Princess beat Breath of the Wild? What? What? What the frick? Wait! What? No, Majora beating Breath is like, okay. Twilight beating Majora? Sorry, Twilight beating Breath? Yeah, it's Wind Waker and then Twilight Princess and Majora. Breath of the Wild isn't even in the top 3. That's insane. That's just wrong. That's just incorrect. Genuinely not correct. What the frick? How dare? How dare? Put Twilight Princess back where it belongs, or so help me. I think Midna hard carries Twilight Princess. I think the problem is, some people played Breath of the Wild and they were like old school Zelda fans and didn't like it. But maybe I think most people who played Twilight Princess enjoyed it. Also, Tumblr is gonna carry Twilight Princess because people on Tumblr enjoy Wolf, Link, and Wild. I think the Twilight x Wild crowd is gonna help. But people enjoy Twilight and Twilight and Wild, so it should help Breath of the Wild too. Harder to pick up and play. Is it though? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, there are a lot of purists who didn't like Breath of the Wild changing the form. I think that might be it. Lack of fun towns. Okay, that could be it. All right. Everything I've known is a lie. Am I out of touch? No, it's the voters who are wrong. I know, right? Twilight Princess is good. Wind Waker's better. I agree. Wind Waker deserves the win. I'm okay with this. I did think Majora should be a little higher. And then I think Breath of the Wild should be a decent amount higher as well. Maybe. But that's basically it. I think this is pretty accurate otherwise. Hold on, let me go through all of them. I didn't even talk about Phantom Hourglass. What's Phantom Hourglass up to? Okay, it's like solid. That's fair. That's fair. Spirit Tracks, slightly higher than Phantom Hourglass. Okay, that's pretty fair. People on Tumblr love Doom ships. Okay, mid-link, fair. Alright. Yuri mid-cell, also fair. Okay, fair. Good point. Yeah, I guess Midna carries. Midna carries. Link Between Worlds, solid. Okay, I can appreciate that. It beats Skyward, which is neat. I think Ravio hard carries Link Between Worlds here. So, people love Ravio. Tears does get knocked down a bit by just being one of the more recent games. So, fair. You just know that Tetra is being so smug towards Flora right now. I'm so shocked! I didn't expect that Breath of the Wild wouldn't even make the podium. That's kind of insane. I want to draw, if I have time, I'll draw, I'm not promising anything, but if I have time, I'll draw a little thing for this, and Artemis is going to present the results, because she's just salty she's not on here at all. Okay, so let's go ahead and, actually I do have a little graph too if you want to see it. Here's the same thing but in like star and dots format. It's just kind of cute. Tetra got second in the Zelda rankings. People like our Tetra around here. Last time in the poll, but Flora won first. People love Flora. And also back then it was recency bias. I think we had just had Tears of Kingdom. Echoes of Wisdom had just barely come out. Echoes got third, so. Last time it was Flora, Tetra, Echo, and then Sun was in fourth place with Skyward Sword. Oh yeah, how was Skyward Sword in this one? Skyward. Okay, I think people... Twitch brought it down. Wow. Interesting. Mario Party summary of the poll. Tears felt old. Yes, I did get a lot of complaints about that. I've heard a lot of complaints about Tears in general. The story being out of order. We talked about all of these in the various categories when we were rating the game. I think it's pretty fair. Yes. So the Flora ranking was a ranking of the Zeldas and not their games, which is why Dusk suffers a lot. So Dusk is not Midna. And doesn't get the Midna bonus. Agreed. This is good. Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and copy this into my overall scores. So here, gonna copy, gonna paste, community bias. Bam. All right, we added in some points. And wait, they're out of order. Frick. What do we miss? Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, Four Souls Adventures. What? Why is there one less game in the poll? 3.02, 2.23. Huh? Did I repeat something twice? The Oracle games are separated in both. Breath, Tears of Kingdom, Echoes of Wisdom, Triforce Heroes. Did I forget a game or something? Phantom Hourglass. Live Princess. Did I forget a game? No, there's no way. What do we forget? I feel like if I had forgotten a game, I would have known before then. Huh. Did I add an extra game? No, Four Swords is here. It's right there. It's right there. It's in the right place. Four Swords not adventurous. Yeah, I thought of that. That was the first thing I thought of. Link's Awakening. That's another game I've forgotten. Oh, it seems right. Okay, let's do a count. Let's do a quick count. Alright, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay. And then... does the other lift have COH? Ah, yes it does! It's a hidden category. Thank you. That's it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Delete the COH. Kill the COH. Kill it with fire and flames. Okay. Zelda card. True. The hidden game. The game they don't want you to know about. That tricky COH. Echo sneaking in there. Kill the COH. Kill it. Okay, hold on. Here. Okay. That'll set this up properly. And delete that. And let's go! Okay, we got our overall scores. I just gotta divide them by 5. Shit, hold on. Actually, I guess not. I think we'll just freaking do the overall thing here. And then I'll go ahead and rate them. So, here. Background white. And then here. Okay. If you do an illustration of the top 3 using your Zeldas, I'd have to do, for Majora, it should be Lullaby wearing Majora's mask on the side of her head. Either that or Skull Kid. So, yeah, she's not even in the game. Oh, man. I don't know if I will do an illustration, but it'll be funny. I think Artemis should present it either way. Divide by 6. I mean, it's not even really a divide by 6 because Novelty was ranked on like a near binary scale. So I'm just gonna add them all. I'm gonna add every point and that's it. It's not a true out of 5 rating. Just gonna add everything. Okay, and then let me just go ahead and just add a conditional formatting here. Single color, scale, rate them from red, white, green. Percentiles, sure, done. And kind of just pull this over here. Did it work? It did work. Okay. Oh, some real close scores here. But let me go ahead and show y'all the final counter. Legend of Spreadsheets. Oh, it didn't work. Hold on. Okay. So there's the conditional formatting. And here's the ratings we've been going over through this entire stream. Let me zoom out just a little bit, it looks like. Maybe if I do this. There we go. Alright. Y'all can see all the games, right? It's the final counter. And we move over to overall. Here's the final ratings. Here's the final ratings. Let's see if I can make these all a little bit thinner so everybody can see everything at once. So here maybe, and then like here, just kind of like zoom them in a little bit more. Yeah, I'm gonna sort by the overall column in just a little bit. I agree. Give me a moment though. It's gonna be resizing really. Okay. Are we good? We're good here. And then let's do a sort. And hope I don't mess this one up, but I think it'll work. Here. Oh, I just lowered the menu, that's why it went away. Format. Wasn't there like a little thing? Yeah, there we go. Create, sort, range. By column. Okay. By column J. Let's go Z to A. Sort. Here we go. And here we go. Okay, hold on, folks. I can see it. And now you can too. This is the final ratings. I'm gonna go ahead and scroll out one more time so we can see everything. And then I'm also gonna try to squish everything back in. It's the Italian flag of rankings. I can choose the colors, by the way. Feel free to choose a different color if you want. Anyone else want any different colors? ALTTP wins! Whoa! ALTTP! Let's go! Just by like the barest of margins. Oh, it's so close. The ranking is so close. How did Mario sneak in there? Yeah. Here, does this work? I think this works. I can actually, here, let me change the color. I think it should be something... Oh, actually no, green to red works, doesn't it? Wait, hold on. Conditional formatting. Color scale. We're gonna add like a slight pale blue to it. So now it can be, here. Now it can be the colors from Zelda 1. There. No, it's gotta be pale blue so that we can go up the armor ranks of Zelda 1. See, we start with like the green armor and then we go into the light blue armor and then it's the red armor. Also, it's Power, Wisdom, Courage. Yeah, little did you know that I've actually been conning you all along. When I asked you to rate things based on combat, I was rating the games based on power. When I was asking you to rate the games based on puzzles, I asked you to rate the games based on wisdom. And then when I talked about story, I was rating the games based on courage. So little did you know it. Yeah, red is the strongest armor, exactly. So 4 Swords is the best game, woo! Yeah, rip 4 Swords, but I expected that. I expected this quite a bit. Yeah, little did you know, all this time, you have actually been in the Triforce all along. Little did you know. Okay, I think this ranking makes sense. Breath of the Wild did make the podium, just barely beating out Wind Waker. That's kind of unfortunate. So close, yet so far. I can't believe Wind Waker... What did Wind Waker lose to? I think it ranked a 4 instead of a 5 on all these categories, versus Breath, which, like, suffers in puzzles, but made its way up in other categories. The MCN FSA manga is really holding... Yeah. Oh, it definitely is. The FSA manga, like, single-handedly holds 4's character together. And Minish Cap, I gotta admit. Echoes of Wisdom, almost in top 5. Yep, it's out here. It's not too bad, not too bad. I guess we can find out what would happen if we took out art and music. Things would change. Things would definitely change. Never mind, ALTTP still wins. I think everything is pretty much the same, actually. Huh. And now, We have settled it. What's the best Zelda game? We now know the truth. It's A Link to the Past, which just barely beats out Majora by like a really, really small margin. Hey folks, Future Lynn here. I've made a few small modifications to this chart after the end of stream, so I thought I'd update y'all. First, chat has convinced me that ALTTP and Ocarina truly do have iconic soundtracks, so both games have had their art and music ratings increased from 2.5 to 3. Secondly, the ranking is supposed to represent how these games feel to play now. Novelty shouldn't be so important, so I've gone ahead and divided all novelty values in half. Yeah, neither of these changings actually impacted the rankings at all, except for perhaps further cementing A Link to the Past's lead. Congrats to that game, truly deserves it. I've edited the rest of this video to include the new rankings, and now back to current Lynn for the video outro. Alright, thank you all for stopping by. This has been an amazing experience. I've been teasing that I'm gonna do this for so long, and it's been so fun to finally do it. I hope you all enjoyed. I had a lot of fun with it, yeah. I might do a podium. I don't know if we'll include top 4, top 3 or something like that. Probably just top 3, honestly. I think they deserved it. Shout out to ALTTP for the win. I think it genuinely is an amazing game. Solid rankings across the board. Basically the only place where it suffers is anything in like the ALTTP ranking. That I guess art and music is the only place where it suffers, really. Other than that, super, super good. Majora's Mask, an incredible game. Just absolutely amazing in many, many ways. The story is great. Genuinely love the aesthetic and the atmosphere and the vibe. And then Breath of the Wild, yeah, just walking out onto that field and seeing the entire world open in front of you, the combat, the way the story is told with the amnesia and trying to figure out what's going on in the world. I loved all of it. And then, of course, shout-outs to Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, and Echoes of Wisdom for their incredible stories as well, I will say. I really appreciated this. This was a lot of fun. I genuinely enjoyed ranking all the games. If you like Zelda content, check out my Instagram or my Tumblr. I got myself a comic over there. It's called The Wisdomverse. It's pretty fun. Lots of content coming out for that soon, especially. So go for that. Pretty good stuff. Go check it out. If you want to see me play any Zelda games, I did just finish my playthrough of The Legend of Zelda, the first ever Zelda game. It was the final Zelda game I had ever played, and I had a blast. It was such a fun time. If you want to see my playthrough of that or my live review, the entire playthrough is now out on YouTube. Go check it out. If you type in !YTVods or !YouTube or something like that into chat right now, you'll get that. And then also, I have a lot of reviews of other Zelda games on there. Check out my YouTube if you want to see a review of like, let's see, A Link to the Past or Echoes of Wisdom. Highly recommend that one. Lots of other Zelda games in there too, and other games as well. I'm actually a tactical RPG super fan. I've played almost every Fire Emblem game, usually on challenge modes and difficulties. We've done deathless runs, hard mode runs, new game plus runs where I spin a wheel and use what chat gives me for each army in each map. All sorts of really fun stuff with tactical RPGs. I'm currently playing XCOM 2, so if you want to join my run of XCOM 2, you yourself can be a part of the army. Stop by for those, that'll be fun. And then on Friday, yes, I am starting Hades 2. It's gonna be a fun game. I'm really looking forward to it. I played Hades to completion. I finished the extra plot. I maxed out the keepsake cabinet, and I had such a blast. I'm not even usually a fan of roguelikes, but it's a really, really good one. So stop by for that as I work through the new part of the game. I did play the demo right when it came out a year ago, and I did my review of that as well. The demo's pretty good. It's pretty good. It had a few flaws, and I'm wondering if they're gonna have corrected them by then. I think they probably have, so it'll be exciting to see. So yeah, stop by on Friday for that. Last but not least, if you haven't joined the Discord, come hang out with us over there. I usually hold polls about like what I'll be voting for next, or sorry, what I'll be playing next. Other things we talk about. I do reviews of other stuff. It's a just nice community too. And I also keep it updated with when I'll be streaming and what I'll be streaming. So check that out if you feel like it. If not, no worries. Always glad to have people stop by Twitch. Lastly, thank you for the support. I really do appreciate this community. You guys are why I keep streaming. So shout out to all of y'all. Thank you so much. We're heading out. We're gonna go raid Dust. Dust is awesome. She's playing some stuff. I think she's playing Baldur's Gate. Dust_rabbit. Go say hi to her for me, and I will see you all later. Bye, folks. Yeah, have a great night, everyone. Good night.